Chapter 1886. Under the deterrence of the Demoness, although the other high-level Bright World Realm powerhouses coveted Murong Yu's cultivation technique, no one dared to make a move. As for the 6 major forces and several other powerful ancestors, they simply ignored these small squabbles and focused their attention on the Heaven's Inquisition vine that was about to appear. Suddenly, the Bright World Realm ancestor that Murong Yu had abused let out a blood-curdling scream. Then, his entire body turned into a black shadow and flew backwards. During this process, this person's life aura was rapidly annihilated. When he landed on the ground, there was no longer any life aura on his body. A Bright World Realm ancestor had fallen. This was the first Bright World Realm ancestor to be killed by a cultivator after entering the Golden Embryo Secret Realm. Of course, Bright World Realm powerhouses weren't invincible when fighting the ferocious beasts of the Golden Embryo Secret Realm. Along the way, many of them had fallen. However, they were all low-level Bright World Realm powerhouses. Murong Yu had never shown mercy to those who wanted to kill him. Therefore, after he had tortured the other party enough and vented the frustration in his heart, he directly killed the other party. Who else? Murong Yu stood in place and shouted with a murderous aura. His eyes flickered with a cold light as he slowly swept his gaze across the faces of the surrounding ancestors. The Bright World Realm ancestors avoided Murong Yu's gaze after meeting his gaze. If it was just Murong Yu alone, they definitely wouldn't have allowed Murong Yu to be so arrogant and would have directly slapped him. However, now that there was the Demoness and a Bright World Realm ancestor as an example, they didn't dare to fight with Murong Yu at all. Within the same realm, Murong Yu was invincible. They knew that they weren't Murong Yu's opponent. "It's you." Murong Yu suddenly pointed at the Bright World Realm ancestor who had been the most arrogant just now. This was a young man with a sinister expression. Even with the Demoness, this person still flickered with an obscure murderous aura. Obviously, his killing intent towards Murong Yu had never decreased. Seeing Murong Yu pointing at him, the gloomy young man sneered and took a step forward. His figure immediately turned into a stream of light and rushed toward Murong Yu. "Die, you little bastard!" The young man sneered and threw a punch at Murong Yu. However, the smile on his face soon froze. At the same time, everyone saw that his cultivation level had dropped rapidly, and he was now exactly the same as Murong Yu. 3rd level Chaotic Void Realm. Ha ha ha, Murong Yu laughed heartily. He took a step forward and pounced forward. What followed was a series of brutal killings. In the end, this Bright World Boundary ancestor died in Murong Yu's hands, just like the Bright World Boundary ancestor before him. Who else? After killing 2 people in a row, Murong Yu was in high spirit. Just as he was about to kill the 3rd Bright World Boundary ancestor to scare these ancestors, he found that there was no one around. Everyone, including the Bright World Boundary ancestor and the Chaotic Void Realm cultivators, had run away. These people were afraid of Murong Yu and were afraid that Murong Yu would choose them in the next moment. Under the suppression of the Demoness, wouldn't they be killed by Murong Yu in the same realm? Cowardly rats! Murong Yu sneered and then quickly returned to the Demoness side. At this moment the team set off again. "Demoness, what are those half-step Blessed Realm patriarchs doing? Why haven't they set off yet?" Murong Yu asked, puzzled. Since the Demoness had sensed the aura of the Heaven's Inquisition divine vine, those ancestors must have felt the same. Under the temptation of such a precious treasure, the ancestors were still stagnant. How could they resist such a huge temptation? The Heaven's Inquisition divine vine is the most precious treasure in the sky martial world. There must be a terrifying ferocious beast guarding it. They must be thinking about how to deal with the ferocious beast guarding it or how to divide the spoils. The Demoness sneered. Murong Yu nodded and quickly followed the majority. Strangely, they didn't encounter any ferocious beasts along the way. They didn't even encounter low-level ferocious beasts. Therefore, the group rushed directly to the deepest part of the golden embryo secret realm. At this moment, even the weakest rebirth realm expert smelled a faint fragrance. Under the influence of this fragrance, some people suddenly had some epiphany. Even those who didn't have an epiphany felt that their comprehension had increased a little. The Heavens Inquisition Divine Vine had two main functions. One was to increase comprehension. The other was to directly increase the chances of a half-step creation realm expert breaking through by 30%. Whether it was to increase comprehension or the chances of breaking through, it was very precious. The demonic woman and the other patriarchs all had excited looks on their faces. To them, the Heavens Inquisition Divine Vine was the creation realm. As long as they devoured the Heavens Inquisition Divine Vine, they would definitely break through to the creation realm. Only Murong Yu was disdainful. Comprehension? He never lacked comprehension. While he was cultivating the 9 syllables mantra, his comprehension was constantly increasing. Therefore, Murong Yu's comprehension was far superior to those in the same realm. As for increasing the chances of breaking through, this was even more useless to Murong Yu, because as long as he accumulated enough strength, he could break through. All he needed was power. Of course, Murong Yu didn't need it, but it didn't mean that Zhao Jiqing and the rest didn't need it. However, Murong Yu didn't intend to take the Heavens Inquisition Divine Vine. Zhao Jiqing and the rest were still relatively weak. Even if they had the Heavens Inquisition Divine Vine, they couldn't use it. By the time they needed it, Murong Yu's strength would have reached the creation realm or even higher. By then, wouldn't it be easy for him to get the Heavens Inquisition Divine Vine or other heavenly treasures or elixirs with similar effects? However, Murong Yu hadn't seen the Heavens Inquisition Divine Vine yet. At that moment, he only saw a gigantic metal divine ape that was like a small mountain. An extremely terrifying aura erupted from its body. It was the same as that of the Demoness and the 6 ancestors of the 6 forces, or even stronger. It was a half-step to the creation realm metal divine ape. Its strength could only be considered average. Even if there weren't 10 ancestors of the half-step to the creation realm present, there were about 10 of them. At the very least, they were on par with the metal divine ape. In fact, the metal divine ape was no match for them at all. However, the reason why the metal divine ape was called that was because its entire body was made of extremely hard metal. It flickered with a dazzling golden light. Even more so, although it was obscure, an extremely powerful aura continuously emanated from its body, intimidating the heavens and the earth. This is the aura of a creation realm origin artifact. Murong Yu couldn't help but exclaim. His face was filled with shock. Murong Yu was no stranger to creation realm origin artifacts. Those ancestors had previously used origin artifacts of this level. They were extremely powerful and could kill anything in their path. Moreover, Murong Yu himself had a creation realm origin artifact. Although the metal divine ape was only half-step to the creation realm, its physical body was already equivalent to that of the creation realm. Once it swallowed the Heavens Inquisition Divine Vine, it would also step into the creation realm. By then, it would definitely be the strongest creation realm in the Tianwu world. It would definitely be able to sweep through the entire Tianwu world, and no one would be its match. The 6 ancestors' faces were ugly. It was obvious that they had also realized this fact. So what if they had creation realm origin artifacts? Facing the powerful metal divine ape, they weren't confident that they could win. However, they had an advantage now. There were many more people than the metal divine ape. Not counting the chaotic realm and rebirth realm cultivators, there were also many bright world realm experts. If they worked together, they might be able to kill the metal divine ape. The 6 ancestors met to discuss for a while. Then, Murong Yu saw a person quickly walking over. It was actually to invite the demonic woman over. Although the demonic woman had hidden her figure and even changed her appearance slightly, Those ancestors were not stupid. However, those ancestors were not fools. How could they not discover her true identity? However, their target was the Heaven's Inquisition Divine Vine, and they didn't care about the demonic woman. The demonic woman was obviously willing to cooperate with the 6 ancestors. Hence, she walked over happily. Although the demonic woman had left, Murong Yu was alone. No one dared to attack him. The demonic woman's power was still there. Moreover, she hadn't left. If they dared to attack Murong Yu, weren't they afraid that the demonic woman would slap them to death? Boom! Not long after the demonic woman went over, a great battle broke out. It was a great battle between many cultivators and the metal divine ape. After an earth-shattering explosion, a terrifying shock wave swept out in all directions like raging waves. Bang! 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 Originally, the crowd had already left the battlefield far away, but they were still swept by the shock waves. Instantly, countless people were sent flying. Some of the unlucky ones were even directly shattered, turning into clouds of blood mist that exploded in the void. The crowd was shocked and could only retreat again and again. In the end, they retreated a few trillion miles before they could stand still. However, even then, they could still feel the terrifying shock waves that kept coming at them. The ancestors of the 6 great forces and the demonic woman had a total of 7 half-step to creation realm experts. Apart from them, there were more than 10 peak bright world realm experts in Tianwu world who were infinitely close to half-step to creation realm experts. More than 20 ancestors surrounded the metal divine ape in a frenzy. However, the metal divine ape roared angrily. Its body shone with golden light and it exploded with terrifying power. It fought with the ancestors loudly and was on par with them. In fact, the metal divine ape even had the upper hand. Wherever it passed, not a single blade of grass grew. Even the half-step to creation realm ancestors had to retreat and didn't dare to fight it head-on. The opponent's physical body had reached the creation realm. If they were hit by the metal divine ape, their physical bodies would be smashed into pieces. Moreover, the attacks of the ancestors landed on the metal divine ape, but it was like an itch and didn't matter at all. Only a similar origin tool of the creation realm would be able to cause such a small wound. Chapter 1887. The injuries caused by the creation realm origin weapons were nothing to the metal divine ape. However, as time passed, these injuries would become bone-deep and terrifying injuries. Therefore, the patriarchs continued to attack relentlessly. Even though Murong Yu could not cause any harm to it, he continued to attack it crazily. The laws of space and time were constantly attacked. However, nature was equal. The metal divine ape also knew the laws of space and time. Moreover, in the golden embryo secret realm, the power of the metal divine ape's laws of space and time seemed to have been strengthened. On the other hand, the patriarch's powers of time and space seemed to be suppressed. This must be the invisible suppression of the golden embryo secret realm. It suppressed the laws of space and time. Murong Yu tried and realized that his laws of space and time were not affected at all. It must be because the laws were more powerful than the laws. The golden embryo secret realm could only suppress the laws of space and not the laws. I wonder how the Heaven's Inquisition Vine is doing? Murong Yu thought to himself. Then, he disappeared from the spot. He had entered the Hichu Luoshu. Why did he suddenly disappear? No one dared to attack Murong Yu anymore. However, there were people who kept an eye on Murong Yu. Once the demonic woman left or was killed by the metal divine ape, they would definitely attack Murong Yu immediately. Therefore, they kept an eye on Murong Yu. However, Murong Yu disappeared into thin air. This made them very depressed. Moreover, because Murong Yu was mixed in with the crowd, they could not find any trace of Murong Yu at all. Otherwise, with their mastery of the laws of space and time, they could still find some traces. After entering the Hichu Luoshu, Murong Yu controlled the Hichu Luoshu and slowly left the crowd. Then, he slowly shot toward the place behind the metal divine ape. The reason why he entered Hichu Luoshu was because Murong Yu was worried that his tracks would be discovered. Therefore, he only came out of Hichu Luoshu after he was far away from the crowd. Stealth. Continue forward. Murong Yu did not dare to advance directly from the front. The aftermath of the battle between the many half-step blessed realm patriarchs was too terrifying, and Murong Yu simply could not withstand it. If he went over directly like that, it was very likely that he would be killed. Therefore, Murong Yu took a huge detour to the side, far away from the attack range of the many great ancestors. Only then did he turn invisible and shoot over. In reality, Murong Yu discovered that there were many people who had the same thoughts as him. Along the way, Murong Yu saw no less than a few hundred experts rapidly sneaking over. However, these people were trying their best to hide their figures. However, they didn't know how to conceal themselves at all, so they could be seen at a glance. Naturally, Murong Yu did not expose them. Instead, he followed behind them and quickly sneaked over. Soon, they arrived at the back of the battle. This place could already be covered by the divine thought of the metal divine ape or other blessed realm patriarchs. Therefore, those patriarchs must have discovered the existence of these people. However, the metal divine ape did not seem to have discovered anything and did not even look at them. However, those patriarchs were furious. They were fighting to the death in front of them. If these people stole the Heaven's Inquisition divine vine, they would be furious. Therefore, some of the patriarchs freed up their hands and wanted to kill these people with a slap. However, before they could do anything, there was a sudden change behind them. Murong Yu, who was moving stealthily, suddenly felt a sense of danger. Immediately, he rushed into Hichu Luoshu without hesitation. The moment he entered the He-Tu and the Luoshu, countless green vines appeared out of thin air, covering the entire sky in an instant. Then, these vines shot down at an extremely fast speed. They directly wrapped around the cultivators who were sneaking over. The cultivators were startled by this sudden change. However, which one of them who dared to come here was a fool? Therefore, these people quickly reacted. Rumble and incomparably terrifying power erupted from their bodies. Wherever the power passed, the vines were quickly shattered. However, after the vines were crushed, they quickly grew back and swept toward those cultivators again. Those cultivators were furious. Their bodies were shrouded in extremely terrifying power as they flew forward. Although there were many vines, they couldn't stop their footstep. However, Murong Yu did not come out of Hichu Luoshu. This was because the warning in his heart did not disappear. On the contrary, it became more and more intense. He knew that these vines were not as simple as they seemed. As expected, vines that were as thick as an arm appeared out of nowhere. It should be known that the vines that appeared earlier were only the size of a pinky finger. The vines that appeared now were more than 10 times larger than the ones before. However, it was obviously more than 10 times larger. The power that the cultivators released could no longer shatter the vines. Soon, one of the vines wrapped around a cultivator. Bang! With a muffled sound, the cultivator who was wrapped up exploded, turning into a cloud of blood mist. The vines around this cloud of blood mist trembled slightly, and the blood mist quickly entered the vines. It was actually swallowed. These vines that were as thick as an arm were extremely terrifying. In less than 15 minutes, the battle had ended and all the invaders were killed. As for the dead cultivators, they were all devoured by the vines. Only Murong Yu, who was hiding in Hichu Luoshu, was safe. Swish! After there were no more invaders, the vines quickly retracted. Murong Yu's heart suddenly moved. He immediately controlled Hichu Luoshu and stuck it to one of the retracted vines. Hiss! Seeing this scene, the people who originally wanted to sneak over stopped in their tracks. One had to know that there were even high-level Bright World Realm cultivators who had been killed by the vines. If even such a powerful cultivator couldn't escape, what was the difference between going up and seeking death? Seeing this scene, the half-step ancestors finally relaxed and started fighting the metal ape. As long as they killed the metal ape, they would be able to deal with a mere vine. This is... Morong-yu, who was in Hichu Luoshu, was shocked. At this moment, the vines that originally covered the sky and covered the earth had completely retracted. However, what shocked Morong-yu the most was that there was only a single vine. It was about the size of a palm and had 2 or 3 vines. The strangest thing was that the leaves of this plant looked like ghost faces. If Morong-yu hadn't seen the vine shrink with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed that this ordinary plant in front of him could erupt with such terrifying power. Moreover, Morong-yu discovered that after devouring the blood essence of those cultivators, this vine seemed to be growing, and its aura was much stronger than before. This vine seemed to be able to cultivate? Or could it evolve? At this moment, its aura was clearly not at the high-level Bright World realm, but the power it erupted with was not even a high-level Bright World realm cultivator's match. I wonder if this plant can be transplanted? If it could, wouldn't he have another powerful trump card by his side in the future? However, how could he collect this plant? Morong-yu would probably be killed the moment he appeared. This is the demonic vine. At this moment, Hichu's excited voice sounded in Morong-yu's ears. Morong-yu was stunned. Ever since Morong-yu entered the rebirth realm, Hichu seemed to have fallen into a deep sleep. Although Morong-yu could still use the Hichu Luoshu, the artifact spirit didn't have any reaction. Why did he suddenly speak? I am the number 1 book born in the universe. What do I not know? During this period of deep sleep, it was because I suddenly obtained a huge amount of memories and needed to sleep to digest them. In the memories, there is this demonic vine. The demonic vine is a type of plant, but it's not a demonic beast. Although it can evolve, it can't transform. However, the memories regarding the demonic vine are a bit blurry. Perhaps it's because it's too high level. However, this demonic vine will definitely surpass the creation realm after it grows, Hichu said excitedly. After entering the endless starry sky, Morong-yu had fewer and fewer trump cards by his side. His previous trump cards didn't have much power. If he could subdue this demonic vine, Morong-yu's strength would skyrocket. How do I subdue it? Morong-yu hurriedly asked. He was also interested in this demonic vine. It's very simple. You just need to feed it with your blood. However, this demonic vine has already reached the Bright World realm. It's difficult to feed it, Hichu said with a sigh. A month's worth of blood was ultimately limited. Morong-yu was only at level 3 chaotic space realm. The power contained in his blood was definitely far inferior to that of a Bright World realm expert. Therefore, it was even more difficult for him to feed the demonic vine. However, no matter how difficult it was, he had to subdue it. Morong-yu gritted his teeth. I have the tree of life. It shouldn't suck my blood dry. As he spoke, Morong-yu had already cut his wrist. A stream of blood containing a huge amount of power shot out. Under Morong-yu's control, the Hichu Luoshu opened a small mouth. Then, the blood shot to the front of the demonic vine. Smelling the scent of blood, the demonic vine trembled excitedly. Immediately, he extended a vine into the blood. Then, the blood disappeared with a swoosh. It was completely devoured by the demonic vine. With a thought, Morong-yu continuously shot out an endless stream of aura from his wrist. It was crazily devoured by the demonic vine. Soon, all the blood in Morong-yu's body was close to drying up. However, the tree of life began to wildly erupt with waves of life power, washing over Morong-yu's body. An endless stream of blood was produced by the tree of life. Chapter 1888. Soon, Morong-yu's face turned pale. This was because he had lost too much blood. After all, although the tree of life's recovery ability was terrifying, its ability to create fresh blood was also terrifying. However, the speed at which the demonic vine devoured blood was not slow either. Usually, the moment the tree of life created fresh blood, the fresh blood would be devoured by the demonic vine. The fresh blood created by the Tree of Life was just a formality in Morong Yu's body. Basically, Morong Yu was still in a state of insufficient qi and blood. However, that was all. It did not affect Morong Yu much. As the demonic vine devoured Morong Yu's fresh blood, the leaves on the demonic vine trembled excitedly as if it was very happy. However, the demonic vine was a special life form. It could not transform, and it could not even communicate with its divine consciousness. However, the demonic vine was excited. However, Morong Yu was having a hard time. That was because the demonic vine's devouring ability became even faster after it became excited. At that moment, Morong Yu's face was pale and bloodless. He was like a legendary ghost. While Morong Yu was feeding the demonic vine with his fresh blood, the battle ahead was still ongoing. Moreover, the power of the battle was becoming more and more terrifying. It shook the ground until it was constantly exploding. Fortunately, the void in the endless starry sky was relatively sturdy and was not destroyed by them. However, the impact of their power also caused ripples to appear on the surface. It was extremely terrifying. Furthermore, after the power exploded, some planets in the sky that passed by were directly destroyed. A chaotic realm expert could already pluck a planet with his hand, let alone a half-step to creation realm expert. An expert of this level only needed to point a finger to destroy an ordinary planet. Of course, an origin star was still not enough. After all, an origin star was too big. Even a creation realm expert could not easily destroy an origin star. However, if a large number of experts were to fight, it would be better. Just like the water cloud planet, when a group of chaotic realm experts fought, the water cloud planet had almost been destroyed. The battle had entered a white-hot state. Those cultivators who originally wanted to sneak over no longer snuck over after witnessing the terrifying power of the demonic vine. This gave Morong Yu a chance to bleed in peace. Half a day later, the demonic vine was still crazily devouring Morong Yu's blood, showing no signs of stopping. However, a smile gradually appeared on Morong Yu's face. In the beginning, the devil's vines had happily devoured his blood. However, that was all there was to it. The demonic vine did not change at all. However, things were different now. After devouring a large amount of Morong Yu's blood, Morong Yu could vaguely sense a subtle connection between him and the devil's vine. It was a relationship where blood was thicker than water. The devil's vine was like a part of Morong Yu's body. However, this feeling was very weak. It was faintly discernible, and could be cut off at any time. Morong Yu knew that as long as the connection between him and the devil's vine was strong enough, the devil's vine would be like a part of his body, which would mean that he had subdued it. However, it was clearly not possible now. He needed to work even harder. Another day passed. The battle in front was still ongoing. It was so intense that the sky was falling and the earth was cracking. Dozens of ancestors were attacking the metal god Ape crazily. During this process, although Morong Yu could not see the scenes of the battle, he could occasionally hear an extremely shrill scream. That was the roar of an ancestor at the peak of the bright world realm who had died. However, the half-step to the manifestation realm powerhouses of the 6 great forces and the demoness should be fine. During this process, there were also people who wanted to sneak over and steal the heavens questioning divine vine. However, the devil's vine once again showed its prowess and turned them all into its nourishment. Moreover, Morong Yu also realized that the devil's vine seemed to be more powerful than before after devouring a large amount of his blood. The devil's vine was evolving. Although the evolution was not very obvious, it had evolved and become more powerful. Moreover, although the connection with Morong Yu was still rather weak, he could clearly feel it. It would not stop halfway. In fact, Morong Yu could even affect the devil's vine. This increased Morong Yu's confidence even more. 3 days later, the relationship between the devil's vine and Morong Yu had become even closer. However, he still had not reached the point where he could subdue it. Roar. Suddenly, following a shocking roar, Murong Yu clearly saw the incomparably firm space of the Tianwu world shatter with a bang. Murong Yu was caught off guard as an incomparably frightening force ruthlessly slammed into the He-Tu and Luo Shu. Crack. Naturally, the He-Tu Luo Shu was not damaged. However, it was only a chaotic space realm Yuan artifact now. It only offset a portion of the impact. The rest of the impact was turned into overflowing damage that directly affected Murong Yu's body. A crisp sound rang out as all the bones in Murong Yu's body were instantly shattered. Following that, his entire body exploded with a pu sound. Bang! At the same time that Murong Yu was shattered, the devil's vine that was originally happily devouring Murong Yu's blood instantly exploded. In the blink of an eye, the palm-sized devil vine began to grow at a crazy rate. The vines that were the size of an adult's thigh grew crazily forward. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. As if someone was controlling it, the devil's vine slashed through the void and ruthlessly slashed down. At the same time that the devil's vine slashed down crazily, there were dozens of flowing lights that were rapidly charging forward. However, after being attacked by the devil's vine, they all stopped. Then, one of them exploded with terrifying power, directly attacking the vines that were rushing over. A great battle was about to erupt. The power of the person who had come was extremely terrifying. After the power exploded, the devil's vine was directly shattered. However, the devil's vine had an extremely terrifying recovery ability. After those vines were shattered, even more vines slashed through the void like Yuan artifacts and crazily attacked. In fact, the surrounding void was filled with furious roars. The devil's vine was furious. In the He-Tu Luo Shu, Murong Yu's body shook and he had already recovered his physical body. However, his face was a little pale. Although the devil's vine had acted in time and blocked many of the aftershocks of the power, his soul was still severely injured. If the devil's vine hadn't acted in time, Murong Yu's soul would have been shattered into pieces. At that time, he could only die. Of course, Murong Yu still had the chance to use the nirvana of the phoenix. However, those chances were too precious and Murong Yu didn't want to waste them here. The metallic ape was killed by them. Murong Yu's face was a little gloomy and his eyes flashed with cold light. The terrifying aftershocks of the power just now were obviously the aftershocks of the metallic ape being killed. Moreover, the demonic woman and the rest had already charged over, but the metallic ape was nowhere to be seen. It was obvious that the metallic ape had been killed. In another day's time, I can completely subdue the devil's vine. Damn it! Murong Yu cursed in his heart. With a thought, the He-Tu Luo Shu opened up a small opening again. The wrist was separated by Murong Yu again, and fresh blood spurted out like a fountain. Seeing the fresh blood, the devil's vine trembled in excitement and started to devour it. At this moment, Murong Yu felt a sense of closeness from the devil's vine. The devil's vine was also angry. However, the target of its anger wasn't him, but the ancestors. My connection with the devil's vine has also strengthened. Now, I only need half a day to subdue the devil's vine. Murong Yu was delighted. Could it be that the appearance of the ancestors interrupted the devil's vine's devouring? Murong Yu thought in his heart as fresh blood spurted out continuously. The ancestors and even the demonic woman didn't recognize the devil's vine. However, the devil's vine was the last obstacle that stopped them from getting the heavens questioning divine vine. Therefore, they had to kill the devil's vine. Although the devil's vine was infinitely close to the advanced Bright World realm and had the strength of a peak Bright World realm expert, its opponents were ancestors who were half a step to the creation realm. Moreover, there were 5 ancestors who were holding creation realm origin weapons. These creation realm origin weapons were extremely damaging to the devil's vine. With a slash of the blade, a large area of the devil's vine was chopped into pieces. Although more devil's vines grew out after a short while. However, Morong Yu realized that every time the devil's vine lost a vine, its aura would weaken a little. Although it was insignificant, a large number of devil's vines would be shattered in an instant. The change in quantity led to a change in quality. Soon, the devil's vine's aura weakened a little. If this continued, the devil's vine would be killed by the ancestors before it could submit to Morong Yu. These bastards! Morong Yu gritted his teeth. If he was strong enough, he would definitely kill these so-called ancestors without hesitation. However, he didn't even have the strength now. Demonis! Morong Yu had a thought and rushed out of the Hichu Luoshu as he roared at the same time. The demoness was rapidly cutting down the devil's vine. However, when she saw Morong Yu, she stopped attacking and even retreated quickly. Brat, give me the heavens questioning divine vine. Morong Yu didn't care if the devil's vine could understand him. He shouted at it. Morong Yu had come up with this name in a hurry. Whoosh! The devil's vine seemed to be connected to his mind. Before Morong Yu could finish speaking, the devil's vine wrapped around an ordinary-looking vine and appeared beside Morong Yu. Give it to the demoness. Morong Yu pointed at the demoness and shouted. Then, the devil's vine wrapped around the heavens questioning divine vine and handed it to the demoness. The heavens questioning divine vine. The demoness and the other half-step to creation realm ancestors exclaimed. The 6 ancestors exploded with terrifying power and grabbed at the heavens questioning divine vine. However, they were fast, but the demoness was faster. With a whoosh, the demoness grabbed the heavens questioning divine vine. Then, she tore a spatial crack in front of her with both hands and entered it. Brat, remember to come and find me. After leaving this sentence, the demoness disappeared without a trace. The spatial crack that she tore was quickly healing. The old ancestors fiercely glared at Morong Yu, then rushed into the spatial crack that was about to close up to chase after the demonic woman. Although they wanted to kill Morong Yu with a slap, they didn't have the time for that at the moment. However, they hated Morong Yu to the core. Chapter 1889. The 6 half-step to creation realm ancestors left, and so did the rest of the peak bright world realm ancestors. They hated Morong Yu to the core and wished they could kill Morong Yu with one slap. However, they all knew what the heavens questioning divine vine meant to them. It meant that they could break through to the creation realm. That was the creation realm. Although the heaven-earth essence chi in the Tianwu world was not enough to support the emergence of a terrifying creation realm expert. However, if they obtained the heavens questioning divine vine, they only needed to cultivate on a higher-level origin planet for a while before they could break through. Without the heavens questioning divine vine, the half-step to creation realm ancestors knew that the half-step to creation realm would be their final destination. They would not be able to achieve anything greater in their lifetime. Morong Yu's actions were undoubtedly the same as personally burying the ancestors' achievements. Therefore, how could they not hate Morong Yu? How could they not chase after the demoness? Morong Yu heaved a sigh of relief when he saw the unstoppable ancestors leaving quickly. The ancestors gave him too much pressure. Even with the demonic vine, he was still no match for them. The difference was too great. However, it was fortunate that they all left. However, before Morong Yu could relax, an extremely cold voice was heard. It made him feel as if he had fallen into an ice cave. Kill that brat for me. A cold voice that was filled with incomparable hatred came over. Then, Morong Yu saw a large group of experts charging towards him. There were many bright world realm experts among them. Morong Yu was only a level 3 chaotic space realm expert. How could he be a match for the bright world realm ancestors? Therefore, his face turned green when he saw this scene. In fact, if he wanted to escape, he could enter the Hichu Luoshu and teleport away. However, if he did that, he would have to give up on subduing the demonic vine. He had to subdue the demonic vine. Moreover, would he be able to subdue the demonic vine after he left? This was an unknown. Moreover, he could feel that if the demonic vine grew up, it would be extremely terrifying and would be of great help to him. Brat, it's all up to you now. Exterminate all of these people and turn them into your nutrients, Murong-yu said in a low voice as he looked at the devil's vine that was becoming closer and closer to him. The devil's vine seemed to understand Murong-yu's words, and a few of its leaves shook slightly. At the same time, the hundreds of millions of vines that had yet to be retracted scattered out once again. Heaven and earth crumbled as they shot towards the person who had just arrived. Kill! The powerhouses roared furiously as they unleashed their strongest attacks at the demonic vine. Although the devil's vine was extremely powerful, many people were frightened by its power. But now that they had so many cultivators, even if each of them spit a mouthful of saliva, they would be able to drown the demonic vine. Of course, this was only what they thought. Bang! 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 A series of muffled sounds rang out continuously. Every time a muffled sound rang out, it was accompanied by a cloud of blood mist that soared into the sky. It was because the cultivator had been killed. After these cultivators were killed, their blood essence was quickly absorbed by the devil's vine. After absorbing a lot of blood essence, Murong-yu realized that the devil's vine, which was originally weak, was slowly recovering. Obviously, the blood essence of cultivators was a great supplement for the devil's vine. As more and more cultivators were killed, Murong-yu could even feel a strong bloodthirsty aura from the devil's vine. Murong-yu felt a chill in his heart. If the devil's vine was allowed to continue growing, it would definitely grow into a bloodthirsty homicidal maniac. However, Murong-yu was confident that as long as he subdued the devil's vine, it would definitely not turn into a homicidal maniac. Moreover, he could guarantee that the devil's vine would follow him, which was much better than being alone here. One cultivator after another was killed, and Murong-yu's blood was continuously devoured by the devil's vine. Although the feeling of blood being thicker than water was getting stronger, the devil's vine was still not subdued by Murong-yu. In the end, something was still missing. There were many times when Murong-yu seemed to clearly know what he was missing, but he just could not grasp it. As for Hichu? Murong-yu asked. However, Hichu did not have a deep memory of this. He only knew that he had to use blood to subdue the devil's vine, but he did not know how to do it. The devil's vine was already infinitely close to the high-level Bright World Realm, and the power it unleashed was comparable to that of a peak Bright World Realm powerhouse. Therefore, under its rampage, countless cultivators were killed. After seeing the bloody truth, the people who were yelling for Murong-yu's death all stopped in their tracks in horror. They didn't dare to take another step into the lightning pool. This was the case even for those Bright World Realm experts. However, they did not leave. Although the devil's vine was terrifying, it was still not a match for their patriarch. And Murong-yu had ruined their patriarch's plan, so he had to die. Although the patriarch had ordered them to kill Murong-yu, and they could not, they could trap Murong-yu. Everyone, let's work together to set up a restriction. Although we can't kill him, he can't escape from here. Once the patriarch returns, it will be his death. A Bright World Realm powerhouse said coldly. The others nodded in agreement. Therefore, the powerhouses worked together and started to set up restrictions around the devil's vine to prevent Murong-yu from leaving. In response, Murong-yu only sneered in disdain. Not to mention that he had the Hichu Luoshu, these restrictions could not trap him at all, unless they sealed the void and prevented him from entering the Hichu Luoshu. Even so, they could not trap Murong-yu. In the world, there was no restriction or formation that could trap Murong-yu. That brat seems to want to subdue that plant. Let's attack from afar. We must not let him succeed. While setting up the restriction, a Bright World Realm powerhouse shouted angrily. The others suddenly realized. They were really stupid. As Bright World Realm and Chaotic Space Realm powerhouses, when did they need to attack at close range to kill? They could totally attack from afar. Moreover, the coverage of the devil's vine was limited. As long as they stood at a safe distance, They could injure the Devil's Vine, but the Devil's Vine would not be able to touch them. As a result, they retreated one after another and sent out terrifying attacks at Morong Yu and the demonic vine. Apart from the 6 major forces, everyone else did the same. Perhaps they did not have any enmity with Morong Yu. In fact, some forces were even grateful to Morong Yu for taking away the Heaven's Inquisition divine vine. That was because the 6 major forces ruled the Heaven's martial world, and the forces had reached a state of balance. This was considered good for the entire Heaven's martial world. However, if one of the family's ancestors successfully broke through to the creation realm, then the Heaven's martial world would live under that person's tyranny. The 6 major forces working together to keep each other in check was much better than a single family ruling. However, anyone with discerning eyes could see that the Devil's Vine was an absolute treasure. If it was subdued by Morong Yu, then wouldn't Morong Yu have another fighter that could display the strength of a peak bright world realm powerhouse? This was something that they could not allow to happen. Furthermore, they all wanted to subdue the Devil's Vine. Therefore, everyone's attacks were madly aimed at Morong Yu. Morong Yu's face turned green. He could only order the Devil's Vine to withdraw. Even so, those people did not dare to take half a step forward. However, the majority of their attacks were still aimed at Morong Yu. This made Morong Yu gnash his teeth. If it was not for his lack of strength, he would have already killed them all. In the end, Morong Yu could only order the Devil's Vine to only destroy the attacks that reached the vicinity. However, because of this, the Devil's Vine's speed of absorbing blood slowed down. Originally, it only needed 1 day to absorb all the blood, but in the end, it was delayed by 3 days. However, the Devil's Vine was too powerful. Those experts' attacks were unable to cause much damage to it. Therefore, within 3 days, Morong Yu was not attacked. However, Morong Yu was now depressed, because he realized that the Devil's Vine had already stopped absorbing blood. It was as if the Devil's Vine was already full. The Devil's Vine was indeed full. Furthermore, the connection between it and Morong Yu was as close as a piece of meat on his body. He could order the Devil's Vine to attack or stop attacking. However, in the end, it was still lacking something for the Devil's Vine to recognize a master. The Devil's Vine can only be subdued by absorbing blood. Now, it has already absorbed enough blood. However, why? Morong Yu muttered to himself. However, at this moment, a look of shock suddenly appeared on his face. This was because at this moment, several extremely terrifying auras shot back from afar at an extremely fast speed. 6 extremely terrifying auras. These were the terrifying auras of 6 half-step creation realm ancestors. Morong Yu had already seen them before. Therefore, he was able to determine who they were immediately. They were the ancestors of the 6 great clans. They had returned so quickly. Had the Demoness escaped? Or had she been killed by them? Oh no. Won't I be finished when they return? Morong Yu's expression changed drastically. With a thought, he was about to enter the Hichu Luoshu. He had to leave immediately. Otherwise, he would not even have the chance to escape when those ancestors returned. However, the moment he entered the Hichu Luoshu, a thought suddenly appeared in his mind. Morong Yu did not hesitate. A drop of blood essence shot out from his fingertip. The Devil's Vine seemed to be cheering. Its leaves and branches swayed happily. One of the vines directly wrapped around Morong Yu's drop of blood essence. Die, you little bastard! At the same time, a furious roar was heard. Then, everyone saw a terrifying palm covering the sky and earth. It carried a terrifying aura that could destroy heaven and earth as it slammed down on Morong Yu. Morong Yu's heart sank. An extremely strong aura of death instantly enveloped his heart. Chapter 1890. This was the full-powered attack of a half-step to Creation Realm Patriarch. Morong Yu's heart was instantly enveloped by an intense aura of death. Morong Yu was only at level 3 Chaotic Void Realm. He could not even withstand the attack of an ordinary Bright World Realm expert, let alone a half-step to Creation Realm expert. Rumble. The half-step to Creation Realm Patriarch's huge hand slapped down in front of everyone's shocked expressions. After a series of earth-shattering explosions, the place where the demonic vine was flattened by the terrifying power. After a long time, the demonic vine was nowhere to be seen. Where was Morongyu? The place where the demonic vine was originally at had become a huge pit. This was the Golden Embryo Secret Realm, and the ground was extremely hard. An ordinary Bright World Realm expert could not even destroy the ground here. One could imagine how furious the Patriarch was. Swoosh, just as the area where the demonic vine had been was leveled, 6 figures appeared in front of the crowd. However, looking at the flattened ground, the 6 half-step to Creation Realm Patriarchs' faces were extremely gloomy. The Golden Embryo Secret Realm was the most terrifying place in the Tianwu world. Usually, no one dared to enter this place, so not many people knew about it. However, the Patriarchs of the 6 forces knew about the existence of the Heaven's Inquisition Divine Vine. Moreover, they knew that other than the Heaven's Inquisition Divine Vine, there was also the Demonic Vine. They had to get the Heaven's Inquisition Divine Vine. The Demonic Vine was also something they had to get. However, they did not get anything at all. That brat escaped. Tian Hai's face was extremely gloomy. He was the one who had attacked just now. Although his strength was terrifying and could even shatter the sky, he did not know that Morongyu was still alive. Even so, he knew that Morongyu was not killed. Even the demonic vine had disappeared. It was obvious that the brat had already subdued the demonic vine. To them, the Heaven's Inquisition Divine Vine was something they had to obtain because it could allow them to break through to the creation realm. However, the demonic vine was not weak either. If it grew up, it would not be a problem for it to reach the creation realm. As long as they subdued the demonic vine, it was equivalent to having a creation realm fighter. Seal the Golden Embryo Secret Realm and arrest that bastard in the Tianwu world. At the same time, seal off all the teleportation formations to other planets. An old ancestor from Mystic Island said murderously. Compared to the Demoness, they hated Morongyu even more. This was because both the Heaven's Inquisition God Vine and the Devil's Vine had been snatched away by Morongyu. And they were just making a wedding dress for someone else. That bastard better not fall into my hands, or I'll make him wish he was dead. The half-step blessed realm patriarch of the bipolar sect said coldly. The same was true for the other 4 patriarchs. However, they did not leave immediately. Instead, they unleashed their terrifying divine senses and began to search the surroundings. However, there was no trace of Morongyu. Even if this kid uses a teleportation talisman, he won't be able to escape from the Golden Embryo Secret Realm. As long as we guard the exit, he won't be able to escape. Divine Sect's half-step to Creation Realm ancestor murderously said. Then, he took a step forward and disappeared from where he stood. The other patriarchs also disappeared one after another. As for the remaining cultivators, they wouldn't care at all. In fact, with the strength of the 6 great ancestors, they could have swept all the way here. They did not need those cannon fodder at all. Those cultivators were actually prepared by the patriarchs to feed the devil vines. They all knew that fresh blood was needed to collect the devil vines, so they let the weaker cultivators in. However, Morongyu had already subdued the devil vines. Thus, those cultivators were no longer of any use. These bastards better not let me catch up to them. Once I have enough strength, I will exterminate all of you. In the Hichu Luoshu, the pale-faced Morongyu said while gnashing his teeth. Although Morongyu had successfully escaped from Tianhai's palm just now, he had still managed to escape. However, he was almost slapped to death. His physical body was directly destroyed, and his soul was severely injured once again. If he wasn't a soul cultivator, his soul would have been annihilated long ago. Fortunately, we have little ghost. Morongyu glanced at the listless devil vines in his hands. Its vines and leaves were shattered. Murderous intent surged in his eyes. Originally, with his strength, even if he hid in the Hichu Luoshu, he would have been directly killed by the overflowing damage. However, when Tianhai's palm slapped down, the devil vines had coincidentally swallowed a drop of his blood essence. After swallowing Murong Yu's blood essence, the devil vines had immediately connected with Murong Yu's mind. They had already recognized Murong Yu as their master. After recognizing Murong Yu as their master, the devil vines naturally would not allow their master, Murong Yu, to be harmed. Thus, it unleashed its strongest strength to block Tianhai's attack. However, although the devil vines could unleash the strength of a peak bright world realm cultivator, it was still far from a half step to the manifestation realm. It could not block Tianhai's attack at all. However, the devil vines would not watch Murong Yu be killed without doing anything. Thus, it directly burned its life force and potential. In the end, the devil vines barely blocked Tianhai's attack. However, it was also severely injured. In fact, if the devil vines had only been injured, Murong Yu would not have been so furious. That was because he had the Tree of Life. Under the frenzied scouring of the Tree of Life's life force, no matter how severe the injuries were, he would be fine. However, the devil vines had burned its life force and potential. Thus, after blocking Tianhai's attack, the devil vine's cultivation level was forcefully reduced to the first level of the chaotic space realm. Moreover, its potential was also greatly affected. Injuries and cultivation level could be recovered, but potential was not. Perhaps the devil vines could have originally grown to a level beyond the manifestation realm. However, after burning its strength, it could only grow to the manifestation realm. Thus, Murong Yu was furious. Perhaps it had sensed Murong Yu's anger, but the devil vine's vines and leaves trembled slightly. Then, they turned into a stream of light and entered Murong Yu's forearm. The next moment, a devil vine's tattoo appeared on Murong Yu's forearm. The devil vines had already settled down on Murong Yu's forearm. Murong Yu could even sense that the devil vines had already fallen into a deep sleep. It was about to recover its injuries and strength. Murong Yu used his hand to caress the tattoo that the devil vines had turned into, and his expression became even colder. "Little brat, don't worry. I will definitely let you recover to your peak. I will also let you surpass everything and have unparalleled achievements." After all, the devil vines had saved Murong Yu's life. It was equivalent to Murong Yu's savior. Thus, Murong Yu would definitely not ignore it. In the following period of time, Murong Yu did not leave Hichu Luoshu. Instead, he began to cultivate. His physical injuries recovered very quickly, and he reached his peak in one fell swoop. However, the injuries to his soul did not recover that quickly. Now, Murong Yu's soul was still at the level of 9 stars, which was equivalent to a sector lord. It could not keep up with his cultivation level. However, although cultivating the Zhe word could strengthen his soul, the progress was very slow. In fact, this should be the normal speed of cultivation. Murong Yu's cultivation level was only because he could devour any energy, which made it seem very monstrous and abnormal. Other than that, Murong Yu's physical body had become extremely weak. It was far from his current level. Originally, Murong Yu's cultivation, soul, and physical body were the 3 of 1, and they cultivated together. However, his soul and physical body could no longer keep up. His soul was still slowly recovering, but Murong Yu had already come out of Hichu Luoshu. He kept all the fragments of the metal godly ape after it was destroyed. This metal was like a physical body. To others, it could not be eaten or refined. However, Murong Yu could refine it and devour the energy contained within. After refining these fragments, Murong Yu did not use these energy to raise his cultivation level, but used it to raise his physical body. Murong Yu felt that only by cultivating his soul, cultivation, and physical body to the great success stage would he be the strongest. He could even feel that only by doing so could he become a primal chaos controller. Don't ask him how he knew, he just had such a feeling. It was probably because he cultivated the all word of the 9 words mantra. From time to time, Murong Yu would have a subtle feeling in his heart. Moreover, only when his soul, cultivation, and physical body were similar would Murong Yu's fighting strength be the strongest. If his physical body and soul reached the Chaos Realm, not only would he be invincible in the Chaos Realm, but he would even have the power to fight against a Bright World Realm ancestor. The Golden Embryo Secret Realm was very mysterious. Hichu Luoshu could not directly teleport to the Sky Martial World outside. Murong Yu also knew that Ancestor Tianhai and the others were guarding the exit. Therefore, Murong Yu did not leave in the following time. Instead, he cultivated in the Golden Embryo Secret Realm. However, a year had passed just like that, and his cultivation level was extremely limited. This could not be helped. The ferocious beasts in the Golden Embryo Secret Realm were too difficult to kill. Facing Bright World Realm ferocious beasts, Murong Yu basically could not kill them. As for ferocious beasts below the Bright World Realm, even if he refined their bodies, he could not raise Murong Yu's strength by much. In the process, Murong Yu had even been chased by Bright World Realm ferocious beasts many times. Although in the end there was no danger, it did not benefit Murong Yu's cultivation at all. Moreover, there were many natural treasures in the Golden Embryo Secret Realm. However, the slightly higher-grade natural treasures were guarded by powerful ferocious beasts. 3 years later, Murong Yu finally raised his physical body to the rebirth state after going through untold hardship. His soul had also reached the peak of the 9th star realm. He was only 1 step away from breaking through to the rebirth state. However, he could not take this step. It's time to leave the Golden Embryo Secret Realm. Murong Yu raised his head and looked at the golden sky of the Golden Embryo Secret Realm. Then, he extended his body and shot toward the exit of the Golden Embryo Secret Realm. However, before he could get close to the exit, he had already stopped with a gloomy face. This was because he realized that the exit was covered by several extremely powerful divine consciousnesses. 6 extremely powerful divine consciousnesses covered the area within a radius of 1 billion miles around the exit. It was the divine consciousnesses of the half-step to creation state ancestors of the 6 great forces. Chapter 1891. The 6 half-step to creation realm experts had sealed off the exit of the Golden Embryo Secret Realm. Perhaps it was because Murong Yu had disappeared into thin air, but the 6 half-step ancestors' divine senses had covered the entire area. Not to mention a person or a beast, even a tiny particle passing by would be carefully inspected. This was what Murong Yu discovered after observing for a few days. This made him very depressed. Do these half-step to creation realm ancestors have nothing better to do? Murong Yu cursed in his heart with a gloomy face. In fact, what Murong Yu did not know was that these ancestors did not have nothing better to do. They did so because of their hatred for Murong Yu and their greed for the demonic vine. After the demoness had obtained the Heaven's Inquisition divine vine, she had already disappeared. According to the 6 half-step ancestors' estimates, the demoness had most likely left Tianwu world to break through to a higher level on the primordial star. Given the demoness' hatred for them, would she come back after breaking through to the creation realm? At that time, none of them would be a match for the demoness. Only after obtaining the demonic vine and finding a way to cultivate it to the creation realm could they fight against the demoness. Therefore, they were guarding this place to death. However, as time passed, the 6 half-step ancestors began to suspect that Murong Yu had already left the Golden Embryo Secret Realm. After all, Murong Yu was too mysterious. He had disappeared into thin air. Moreover, they had thoroughly investigated Murong Yu's background over the past few days, but they had not found anything. Could that brat be hiding in the Golden Embryo's secret realm and waiting for the demoness to come and save him? The half-step to creation realm ancestor of the world dominators said with a gloomy face. The other 5 half-step ancestors' faces instantly darkened. This was very likely. However, the demoness would not be able to break through to the creation realm in a short period of time. Even with the Heaven's Inquisition Divine Vine, it only increased the chances by 30%. Whether or not she could break through was still a problem. Murong Yu was only a level 3 chaotic realm. He might have been killed in the Golden Embryo secret realm. Should we go in and search again? Mystic Island's ancestor looked at the other 5. Although they had already checked the entire Golden Embryo secret realm thoroughly, they did not find anything. Murong Yu's concealment ability was too terrifying. Even if they went in, they wouldn't be able to find anything. However, they now hoped that Murong Yu had already been killed by those beasts in the Golden Embryo secret realm. That way, the demonic vine would no longer recognize its master and return to its ownerless state. What if Murong Yu has been lurking near the exit? Once we enter, he will take the opportunity to rush out. The twin polarity sex ancestor pondered for a moment before speaking. The other patriarchs fell silent as well. No matter what, I have to go in again. The mysterious island's ancestor harumphed coldly and charged into the Golden Embryo secret realm. The expressions of the other patriarchs changed slightly. Some people didn't want to enter the Golden Embryo secret realm, but the ancestor of the mystic ice island went in. What if he obtained the Devil Vine and took it for himself? They would not allow such a thing to happen. Therefore, the remaining 5 patriarchs also charged into the Golden Embryo secret realm. However, their immense divine senses still covered the exit. Murong Yu couldn't help but be startled when he sensed the 5 enormous divine senses above him. Because he was at the edge of the area covered by the patriarch's divine sense, the patriarchs only casually scanned him with their divine sense when they passed by. Naturally, they didn't notice the He-Tu and the Luo Shu that had turned into particles. This is a good opportunity. Murong Yu was secretly overjoyed. Although the exit was still covered by their divine senses, once he touched it, he would be discovered. This was definitely the best opportunity to rush out of the Golden Embryo secret realm. Otherwise, Murong Yu would be trapped in the Golden Embryo secret realm for the rest of his life. However, Murong Yu did not leave immediately. Instead, he hid himself. The patriarchs were still relatively close to him. Once they discovered him, they would most likely rush back before Murong Yu could escape. By then, Murong Yu would be in deep trouble. After waiting for a day, Murong Yu finally walked out of He-Chu Luoshu. He guessed that the patriarchs had already left. Now is the time. Murong Yu took a deep breath. First, he glanced at the immense divine senses that covered the entire heaven and earth. Then, he took a step forward. Using the army formula, Murong Yu boosted himself with the space and time rules of order. Then, he shuttled through the void and rushed toward the exit of the Golden Embryo secret realm. Boom! In the blink of an eye, Murong Yu's entire body violently slammed into the 6 ancestors' interweaving divine senses. After an earth-shattering explosion, Murong Yu felt 6 incomparably frightening energies surging towards him like a torrent. Before he could even react, the energies had already bombarded him. Murong Yu was shocked. He immediately took out the He-Chu Luoshu and the weapon fragments to block in front of him. It was also at this moment that the 6 incomparably terrifying forces had already blasted over. Poof! Murong Yu felt as if he had been smashed by an incomparably huge ancient mountain. All the bones in his body were instantly shattered into powder. His physical body was almost shattered into powder. His physical body had already reached the level of a rebirth state origin weapon. However, under the bombardment of such terrifying forces, it could not withstand a single blow. One could imagine how terrifying the power contained in the divine senses was. A large mouthful of blood mixed with pieces of internal organs spurted out. Murong Yu's figure rapidly retreated. Seeing that Murong Yu was retreating, the 6 forces seemed to have locked onto Murong Yu and bombarded him. However, Murong Yu's speed was not bad. With a few swings of his body, he had already retreated hundreds of millions of miles away. The six forces were still chasing after him, but their power was more or less depleted. They were not as terrifying as before. At this moment, the tree of life in Murong Yu's body trembled violently. An incomparably vast amount of life force gushed out and frantically cleansed Murong Yu's body. In just a few moments, the injuries on Murong Yu's physical body had been healed. Explode! Murong Yu's fury soared to the heavens. With a roar, the weapon fragment exploded with a frightening aura capable of destroying the heavens and earth. Then, it rapidly shot towards the six incoming attack. Boom! 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 When one of the forces was slashed, one of them trembled slightly but did not shatter. It only weakened a little. However, it did not matter. Murong Yu could attack more than once. In an instant, Murong Yu slashed more than 1,000,000 times. Finally, under his incomparably violent bombardment, the six forces were all shattered by him. However, there was no joy on Murong Yu's face. On the contrary, there was a look of worry. This was because he knew that he had triggered the divine sense of the six great ancestors. The six great ancestors must have been alerted and would definitely rush over as soon as possible. That's right. When Murong Yu collided with the divine sense of the six great ancestors who were in the depths of the golden embryo secret realm immediately reacted. Someone is attacking our spiritual will, and it's coming from the golden embryo secret realm. Oh no, it must be that little bastard. The Black Tortoise Tower's ancestor roared, then turned around and shot toward the exit. His speed was more than 10 times faster than before. The other patriarchs also silently turned around and rushed out. Murong Yu once again came to the front covered by the divine sense. Looking at the divine sense, his eyes flashed with a terrifying light. Those ancestors left behind their divine senses. Because they are far away, these divine senses can only erupt with the strength of the early bright world realm. If my physical body hadn't broken through to the rebirth realm and my strength wasn't strong enough, I'm afraid I would have been killed just now. These divine senses aren't indestructible. I just need to attack from a distance and slowly exhaust their strength. However, I only have 2 hours. I'm afraid those 6 old fellows will be back in 2 hours. Murong Yu's eyes flashed violently, and he had already controlled the weapon fragments to attack madly. Boom! The divine sense of the six forces rushed over again and ruthlessly strangled the weapon fragments. Murong Yu's figure quickly retreated. During this process, the weapon fragments madly attacked. Murong Yu's hands weren't idle either. The 9 syllables of truth was continuously sent out by him as he crazily bombarded his opponent. Because of the experience, the divine sense's power couldn't directly attack Murong Yu's body. However, Murong Yu's attacks didn't stop. Therefore, the divine sense's power was constantly being weakened. 1%, 2%, 10%. The divine sense was getting weaker and weaker. When the divine sense's power was weakened to 50%, half an hour had already passed. Murong Yu's heart was in his mouth. An extremely strong sense of danger shrouded his heart. Moreover, as time passed, the sense of danger grew stronger and stronger. He could even feel the aura of the 6 great ancestors rushing back quickly. If this continued, the great ancestors would probably rush back before Murong Yu could destroy the divine sense. Little brat, attack! Although Murong Yu was unwilling to use the demonic vine, it was already a matter of life and death. As Murong Yu's alternative pet, the demonic vine naturally knew that Murong Yu was in a critical situation. Therefore, as soon as it appeared, it exploded with billions of vines and madly attacked with terrifying power. Although the demonic vine's realm had been reduced to the chaotic realm, it couldn't stop its vines. One attack was equivalent to billions of attacks. It was even more effective than Murong Yu. Therefore, the speed at which the divine sense was being weakened increased. Soon, the divine sense was weakened to only 20% of its previous level. Quick! Speed up! However, Murong Yu didn't relax. Instead, his expression became more serious, and the speed of his attacks increased. Chapter 1892. Under Murong Yu's attacks, the power of the divine consciousness was constantly being weakened. However, Murong Yu's expression did not relax. On the contrary, it became more and more solemn. This was because the sense of danger in his heart was getting stronger. The 6 old ancestors must be on their way back, and it wouldn't take long for them to return. As long as the power of the divine consciousness is weakened to 1/10 of its original level, I will be able to rush over. Break for me! Murong Yu roared in his heart as his attacks grew fiercer and fiercer. Swoosh! Swoosh! Right at that moment, 6 black figures suddenly appeared in Murong Yu's line of sight. Furthermore, they were smashing through the void at a frightening speed as they shot towards him. The 6 half-step to blessed realm ancestors had finally arrived. Murong Yu was shocked. However, he did not panic. Instead, he increased his strength and continued to attack the divine consciousness in front of him. Little bastard, let's see where you can run to. A sinister voice was heard. Then, a large hand traversed the sky and grabbed down with a terrifying aura that could destroy heaven and earth. At that moment, all the hair on Murong Yu's body stood on end. The sense of danger in his heart was raised to the extreme. However, Murong Yu did not hurry. Instead, he continued to attack the divine consciousness in a frenzy. 13%. Hurry! Hurry up and break! Murong Yu roared in a frenzy. At that moment, the large hand had already grabbed down. Just as the large hand was about to grab Murong Yu, the other 5 half-step to blessed realm ancestors attacked. Bang! A large hand slapped the large hand formed by the power of the first ancestor and sent it flying. The mysterious island ancestor was instantly enraged. However, he did not say anything. Instead, he grabbed at Murong Yu again. Murong Yu had the Devil's Vine on him. If one of them managed to grab Murong Yu, they could take the Devil's Vine and leave immediately. There was not much difference in strength between the 6 of them. Even if 5 of them could defeat one of them, it would be extremely difficult to kill him. Therefore, the 6 of them would definitely not let anyone else capture Murong Yu. They could only control Murong Yu together and then discuss who the Devil's Vine would belong to. Boom! Because of this, the 6 ancestors attacked again and attacked each other. The giant hands exploded one after another, but they were controlled to only explode within a certain range. Otherwise, Murong Yu would have been shaken to death. They could not guarantee that the Devil's Vine would not be killed. Kid, hand over the Devil's Vine or die. The World Dominator's ancestor looked at Murong Yu was murderous. If not for this kid's Heaven's Vine, the Devil's Vine. At this moment, Murong Yu was enduring the terrifying pressure. Although the 6 ancestors' attack, however, the invisible aura of 6 half-step blessed realm patriarchs was enough to kill him. As a result, Murong Yu felt as if all the bones in his body were about to shatter under their pressure. However, Murong Yu did not say a word and continued to attack the net of divine consciousness. Kneel down. Seeing that Murong Yu did not care about them, the 6 ancestors were furious. The Black Tortoise Tower's ancestor roared. An extremely terrifying pressure descended from the sky like a stormy sea, directly suppressing Murong Yu. Boom, crack, crack, Murong Yu's body abruptly came to a stop, but he still stood straight. However, a series of cracking sounds came from his body. It was extremely terrifying. This was because his bones were being crushed inch by inch. Endless pain rushed madly into Murong Yu's mind, almost causing him to faint. However, Murong Yu's expression remained firm as he stood in his original spot. He had experienced this kind of pain countless times, so he was not afraid of it. If these people wanted to use force to force him to kneel, he would definitely not kneel. Even if he died, he would not kneel. Therefore, although his face was pale, his eyes were filled with determination. The depths of his eyes were filled with hatred that soared to the sky. You 6 old farts only know how to bully the weak? Is this all you've got? Is this the ability of a half-step to the blessed realm? Murong-yu was furious and could not help but mock them. The 6 ancestors' faces immediately darkened. The Black Tortoise Tower's ancestor's face was even darker. Was it because Murong-yu hadn't knelt under his pressure? Was this not a slap to his face? Boom. An even more terrifying pressure came crashing down. Boom, crack, crack. At this moment, all the bones in Murong-yu's body were crushed. Even his physical body was crushed into a pile of mud. Without bones, his flesh was crushed into a pile of mud. Naturally, he could not stand. However, Murong-yu remained standing. Although his body could not stand straight, he did not kneel. He would kneel to the heavens, the earth, and his parents. It was impossible for these people to make him kneel. Good boy, you're not bad. The Black Tortoise Tower's ancestor laughed in anger. However, although he said that Murong-yu was not bad, his voice was cold and murderous. How could he say that Murong-yu was not bad? The other 5 ancestors glanced at the Black Tortoise Tower's ancestor with disdain. This guy was an absolute powerhouse at the half-step to the blessed realm, but he could not do anything to Murong-yu? Feeling the other 5's disdain, the Black Tortoise Tower's ancestor's heart was filled with anger. His desire to kill Murong-yu grew even stronger. Bang! The Black Tortoise Tower's ancestor attacked again. A slap landed on Murong-yu's body that had already turned into a pile of mud. Under the impact of the terrifying power, Murong-yu could not block it at all. His entire body fell to the ground and was slammed deep into the ground. Old bastard, you better not let me escape today. Otherwise I'll kill you myself. Murong-yu roared with a murderous aura. Although it was only the Black Tortoise Tower's ancestor who attacked, the other 5 ancestors were not good people either. Therefore, these 6 people were people that Murong-yu had to kill. Once he had enough strength, it would be the time of death for these 6 people. Feeling Murong-yu's murderous aura, the 6 ancestors suddenly felt uneasy. But soon, they began to sneer. Murong-yu would definitely die today. What was there to be afraid of? Why are you saying so much to this little bastard? Just kill him. The devil's vine must be on him, the twin polarity sex ancestor said calmly with a murderous aura. Ha ha ha! At this moment, Murong-yu laughed loudly. 6 old bastards, don't you want the devil's vine? The devil's vine has already recognized me as its master. With a thought, I can completely destroy the devil's vine. Why don't you kill me? I'll make sure that you get nothing. The 6 ancestors' eyes narrowed slightly. They knew that Murong-yu was speaking the truth. Moreover, even if they could seal and imprison Murong-yu's power, they could not imprison his thoughts. Moreover, even if they could imprison Murong-yu's thoughts, Murong-yu could definitely kill the devil's vine before they could imprison him. Seeing the 6 ancestors hesitate, Murong-yu continued to laugh. 6 old bastards, do you know who the demonic woman is? A bunch of trash. I'm sure you don't know. Murong-yu continued to laugh coldly. His words caused the 6 ancestors' murderous aura to surge. I'm sure you know that the demonic woman is not from the Tianwu world. She is the holy maiden of the lunar sect. Do you know about the lunar sect? Any disciple from the lunar sect can easily destroy trash like you. The lunar sect's manifestation realm cultivators were everywhere. You 6 old bastards actually dare to kill the holy maiden of the lunar sect? You're dead meat. Murong-yu said coldly. His words caused the 6 ancestors' murderous aura to surge. A trace of fear appeared in their eyes. As the 6 ancestors of the Tianwu world, they naturally knew about the existence of the lunar sect. That was a colossus in the solar system. Destroying small planets like theirs would be as easy as blowing off dust. If the demonic woman was really the holy maiden of the lunar sect, they would definitely die. Seeing the fear in the 6 ancestors' eyes, Murong-yu laughed coldly in his heart. In reality, he did not know whether the demonic woman was the holy maiden of the lunar sect. In fact, he did not even know if the lunar sect had a holy maiden. However, he had no other choice now. These 6 old bastards were too strong. He could only use the lunar sect to suppress them. "I'll tell you another secret." Murong-yu continued to laugh coldly. The demonic woman is the holy maiden of the lunar sect. However, this is only one of her identities. However, she has an even more terrifying identity. Do you know what it is? She is the daughter of the sect leader of the lunar sect. She is the successor to the sect leader of the lunar sect. Murong-yu tossed out another bombshell. Although this was only a lie. However, the 6 ancestors did not know whether this was true or not. Moreover, the 6 ancestors all knew about the identities of Murong-yu and the demonic woman. Sure enough, after Murong-yu tossed out this bombshell, the 6 ancestors were instantly stunned. The power that was originally suppressing Murong-yu also fluctuated violently. This was the moment. Murong-yu roared in his heart. His body immediately shot into the air. All of his bones and flesh had been shattered. However, as he spoke, he had already secretly recovered his strength to its peak state. At this moment, although he was still unable to weaken his divine sense to 1/10 of its original strength, Murong-yu could only forcefully break through. The 6 ancestors were dazed for a moment. However, they immediately came to their senses. In their fury, they all moved at the same time. A massive hand directly grabbed at Murong-yu. Time freeze. Time reverse. Spatial shackle. 9 syllables technique. At this moment, Murong-yu unleashed his most powerful attack. All kinds of battle techniques were instantly unleashed. In fact, the demonic vines were also furiously attacking. However, although the regulations of time and the regulations of space were extremely powerful, the gap between Murong-yu and the 6 ancestors was truly too large. As soon as these attacks came into contact, they were directly shattered. However, it was not completely useless. At the very least, it could delay the attacks of the 6 ancestors for a split second. Even if it was only a split second, it was still enough. Chapter 1893. Boom. At this moment, Murong-yu had already slammed into the net-like divine sense. A terrifying force exploded and was about to send Murong-yu flying. Break! Murong-yu roared in his heart. Holding the broken pieces of the weapon in his hand, he charged forward in a frenzy. Although the force was still terrifying, it was beyond what Murong-yu could bear. Rumble under Murong-yu's attack, the force quickly dissipated. However, although Murong-yu was charging forward quickly, his speed was not fast. The attacks of the 6 patriarchs tore through the air and were about to suppress him again. Old man Tianhai, do you know who emptied the Tianhai sect's treasure vault? It's the other 5 people. The 5 of them controlled your obedient grandson and robbed him after emptying the treasure vault. It's ridiculous that you still cooperated with them. At this moment, Murong-yu suddenly sneered. The patriarch of Tianhai sect was instantly enraged. A terrifying force exploded and swept through the other 5 patriarchs as he charged forward in a frenzy. These 5 people's actions were too disgusting. He wanted to kill them. Moreover, they had pretended to ask him why he did not bring the origin artifact of the creation realm. They had already stolen it, and now they were asking? Weren't they mocking him on purpose? Are you crazy? The other 5 patriarchs were shocked and hurriedly retracted their forces to defend themselves. If they did not defend themselves, they might be killed by the frenzied half-step to creation realm expert. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Murong-yu had already charged into the boundless divine consciousness. Then, with a swoosh, he disappeared from the sight of the 6 patriarchs. He had already been transported out of the Golden Embryo Secret Realm. Once he left the Golden Embryo Secret Realm, he would be free to do whatever he wanted. No one could stop Murong-yu. As long as he entered the Hichu Luoshu, even if the 6 patriarchs were Creation Realm patriarchs, they would not be able to do anything to him. Shameless! Tian Hai was infuriated. He erupted with a terrifying power and crazily attacked. The other 5 ancestors were enraged, while the divine sect ancestor angrily roared, "Old man Tian Hai, if we did it, how did that little bastard know? Now I suspect that it was that little bastard who stole it. Even if it's not the little bastard, it's definitely related to him. Maybe it's that witch." The patriarch of the Skysea sect was taken aback. That's right, if these 5 people did it, how would the little bastard know? Oh no. He had been tricked. Ancestor Tian Hai abruptly reacted and rushed out in a flash. However, where was Murong Yu's shadow? "Old man Amami, what do you say?" The other 5 old ancestors also came out, but they couldn't find any signs of Murong Yu leaving. It was as if he had disappeared into thin air. Thus, the 5 of them looked at Tian Hai with unfriendly expressions. If not for Ancestor Tian Hai, they would have captured Murong Yu long ago. Ancestor Tian Hai was about to vomit blood. Because of Murong Yu, they only glanced at the heavens inquiring God vine and the demonic vine. In fact, Murong Yu even emptied the treasury of the Skysea sect. The entire world will hunt down Murong Yu. Ancestor Tian Hai shouted coldly with a dark expression. Then, he quickly left. Although the other patriarchs were unwilling, they had no choice but to leave. They couldn't kill Ancestor Tian Hai, right? Even if they wanted to, Ancestor Tian Hai wasn't that easy to kill. Thus, they could only leave the Golden Embryo secret realm unhappily. However, Murong Yu's words made them unable to calm down. Her identity as a demonic woman and the lunar sect were like a series of incomparably heavy mountains weighing down on their shoulders, making it difficult for them to breathe. However, this had nothing to do with Murong Yu. After Murong Yu left the Golden Embryo secret realm, he used the Hichu Luoshu to teleport away from the Golden Embryo secret realm. This way, even if the 6 half-step to Creation Realm ancestors were extremely powerful, they wouldn't be able to find him. Those 6 old bastards! Murong Yu's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He swore that as soon as his strength increased, he would definitely kill the 6 of them. Of course, the prerequisite was that the witch didn't come back and kill them. Thinking about the witch, Murong Yu couldn't help but feel a headache coming on. When he threw the heavens inquiring God vine to the witch, he only wanted her to lure the 6 ancestors away so that he could successfully subdue the demonic vine. However, the witch didn't look back. "This witch almost killed me. If I meet her, I will definitely give her a good spanking." Murong Yu's heart skipped a beat. In a flash, he appeared beside Zhao Jiqing and the others. Zhao Jiqing and the others had always been in the Hichu Luoshu. This was also the reason why Murong Yu was unwilling to surrender. Once he was killed or surrendered, the Hichu Luoshu would be snatched away. Then, Zhao Jiqing and the others would fall into the hands of his enemies. At that time, they would definitely die. In the following time, Murong Yu didn't leave the Hichu Luoshu. Instead, he accompanied Zhao Jiqing and the others while slowly recovering his strength. Originally, Murong Yu planned to find a strong primordial star to settle down Zhao Jiqing and the others. After all, it was too dangerous to follow him. A weak primordial star would have too many restrictions and their future achievements wouldn't be high. Originally, Zhao Jiqing and the others could settle down in Heaven Martial World's Trinity Star. However, now that Murong Yu had offended the 6 old ancestors, he didn't dare to let Zhao Jiqing and the others settle down in Heaven Martial World. Otherwise, once they were discovered, Murong Yu wouldn't even have time to cry. He could only go to an even stronger primordial star. Murong Yu's ideal place was naturally the lunar sect. However, without the demoness, Murong Yu didn't know how to go to the lunar sect. As for the Heaven Martial World, although the Heaven Martial World was relatively open, not many people knew about the existence of the lunar sect. The 6 patriarchs definitely knew about it, but would they tell Murong Yu? As long as Murong Yu appeared beside them, he would probably be killed. After resting for a period of time, Murong Yu's soul slowly recovered. Thus, he left the Hichu Luoshu and appeared in the Heaven Martial World. The entire Heaven Martial World was looking for him. Under the control of the various old ancestors, Murong Yu's appearance was known by almost everyone in the Heaven Martial World. Of course, to experts like them, their appearance could be changed at any time. Murong Yu was the same. Thus, it was impossible to arrest someone just based on their appearance, unless he knew which faction the other party was from and captured the other party's people to threaten him. However, the 6 old ancestors were extremely vicious. Because they were very familiar with Murong Yu's aura, they also publicized Murong Yu's aura. Soul aura. No matter how a person's appearance changed, their soul aura would not change. Because once the soul aura changed, that person's soul would change as well. If that person could change their soul, then that person would be an incomparably powerful soul cultivator. However, there were so many soul cultivators in this world, but how many soul cultivators were there in total? Soul cultivators were rare not only in low-level planets like the Sacred World, but also in the boundless starry sky. These 6 old bastards are truly vicious. If it was anyone else, no matter how big the Heaven Martial World is, there would be no place for them to stay. In a city, looking at the 6 great powers' joint arrest warrant, an ordinary-looking youth sneered in his heart. This person was naturally Murong Yu. At this moment, there was a huge difference between his appearance and the original body. He was completely different from the original body. The most shocking thing was that his soul aura had also changed. Murong Yu was a soul cultivator, so changing his soul aura was not difficult for him. Furthermore, he had previously split half of his soul into a clone that was completely different from his original body. Thus, when he found out that he was wanted, Murong Yu completely changed himself. Now, even his closest wives couldn't help but come to him. The 6 great powers were clearly frightened by Murong Yu's words. They only wanted Murong Yu, but not the demoness. Furthermore, they were very vague about Murong Yu's origins. Murong Yu did not reveal his identity, but he was definitely related to the demoness. Could it be that they did not think that Murong Yu was also a disciple of the lunar sect? Murong Yu had some doubts in his heart. Furthermore, the 6 old ancestors still dared to kill him after finding out about his relationship with the demoness. Murong Yu only found out about this after a long time. However, what comforted Murong Yu was that, although the 6 great powers wanted him, they clearly thought that he came down from a high-level origin star. With their strength, it was impossible for them to obtain information from a high-level origin star. Thus, they did not know about Murong Yu's identity. Otherwise, if they continued to investigate and tracked down to the water cloud planet, Murong Yu's identity would be exposed. At that time, the sacred world would be destroyed by their anger, or they might even use it to threaten Murong Yu. The Sky Martial World is no longer suitable for me to stay in. I can only go to a higher-level origin star. That is my stage. Murong Yu muttered. However, many days later, he became depressed, because he did not know how to go to the lunar sect. There were a few teleportation formations that directly sent him to a higher-level origin star, but Murong Yu was only a level 3 chaotic space realm. He did not even have the qualifications to be teleported. Directly attack? Those teleportation formations were guarded by Bright World Realm old ancestors, and they were all in the headquarters of the 6 great powers. Unless Murong Yu's brain was fried, he would not dare to barge in. There were many teleportation formations to other origin stars of the same level or even lower-level origin stars. Murong Yu was qualified to be teleported. However, those origin stars were definitely the same as the Sky Martial World. Just as Murong Yu was feeling depressed, a piece of news spread throughout the Sky Martial World overnight. As this piece of news spread, it immediately suppressed the popularity of Murong Yu's arrest. A large sect on a higher-level origin star, the Sun Sect, had come to the Sky Martial World to recruit disciples. Anyone who was in the chaotic space realm or above could participate in the assessment. Once they passed, they would be like a carp leaping over the dragon's gate. From then on, they would have a meteoric rise. Chapter 1894. The Sun Sect is recruiting disciples? Murong Yu was stunned when he heard the news. Others might only know that the Sun Sect was a behemoth on a higher-level planet, but most people in the Tianwu world had never heard of it. That was because their horizons were limited. However, Murong Yu had learned about the Sun Sect from the demonists. Moreover, he had obtained the Sun Sect's secret technique from the Sun Sovereign in the Sacred World, the Sun Sutra. Whether it was the Sacred World, the Water Cloud Planet, or the Tianwu World, these planets all existed in the Solar System. The Solar System was an incomparably huge galaxy with countless planets and spheres. There was even a four-origin planet. The Tianwu World was very powerful, but it was only a ternary planet. The Solar System was a four-origin planet, and there were terrifying existences at the creation realm. The Sun Sect was the ruler of the Solar System. The Sun Sovereign that Murong Yu had met was the ruler of the Solar System, the sect leader of the Sun Sect. This is a little interesting. Murong Yu suddenly laughed. Originally, he wanted to join the Lunar Sect, but he didn't know how to get there. Since the Sun Sect was recruiting disciples in the Tianwu world, wouldn't it be convenient for Murong Yu to go there? Although he was going to join the Sun Sect, the Sun Sect seemed to be stronger than the Lunar Sect. Become a disciple of the Sun Sect and join the Sun Sect. Murong Yu made up his mind and left the place. He began to inquire about the Sun Sect's recruitment. Although he had no connections in the Solar System, there was no big tree for him to take shelter in. However, Murong Yu had walked step by step since he was a mortal. Moreover, after joining the Sun Sect, he would be able to obtain many intangible resources. It was 1,000,000 times better than being a rogue cultivator like Murong Yu. This was the advantage of being a sect. Otherwise, everyone would be a rogue cultivator. However, the news that Murong Yu received gave him a headache. This time, the Sun Sect was only recruiting disciples at the Chaos Realm. They didn't want those with low or high cultivation realms. However, this didn't give Murong Yu a headache. Because he was in the Chaos Realm, he met the requirement. What gave him a headache was that the Sun Sect was only recruiting 100 disciples in the Tianwu world. Moreover, these 100 disciples were not official disciples. Only after becoming one of the 100 would there be more selections after reaching the Sun Sect. This was because the Sun Sect's recruitment was limited to the entire Solar System. Regardless of whether it was the 1 Yuan star, 2 Yuan star, 3 Yuan star, or 4 Yuan star, they were all recruiting disciples. In the Solar System, there were as many primary planets as there were grains of sand in the Ganges. If each planet were to recruit 100 people, then the final number would be extremely terrifying. Even so, it was said that the Sun Sect did not recruit many disciples. 1 in 100 million? Or 1 in a billion? Those who could enter the Sun Sect were definitely geniuses among geniuses. Moreover, the Chaos Realm had 9 minor realms. Any disciple who had reached the Chaos Realm or below could participate. In other words, regardless of whether one had just broken through to the Chaos Realm or was a half-step Bright World Realm expert, one could participate. Furthermore, they were competing on the same stage. Many people knew that these 100 people would definitely be chosen from Peak Chaotic Void Realm and half-step Bright World Realm expert. As for people of other realms, it would be useless even if he went. However, there was still a large number of people who flocked over. Think about it, even if they did not make it in the end, if they shone brightly in the competition, wouldn't it attract the attention of the major powers? Which major powers would they be able to enter in the end? To many people, the Solar System was still too far away. Being able to enter the top powers of the Tianwu world was already enough for them. The selection would be held a month later, and the location was the largest city in the Tianwu world, Tianwu City. Tianwu City was a city jointly controlled by the 6 major powers. It was located in the center of the Tianwu world and was incomparably prosperous, surpassing any other city in the Tianwu world. Murong Yu rushed to Tianwu City without hesitation. He had to enter the top 100 in this selection. Qingfeng City was one of the largest cities in the Tianwu world. It was located in the west of Tianwu City. Normally, Qingfeng City was very prosperous. Although it could not be compared to Tianwu City, it was still one of the few in the Tianwu world. This was because if one wanted to go to Tianwu City from the west of the Tianwu world, they had to pass through Qingfeng City first. This was because Qingfeng City had a large number of teleportation formations from the west of the Tianwu world. There were not many teleportation formations that directly sent people to Tianwu City. This was a rule set by the 6 major powers, and no one knew why. Apart from Qingfeng City, there was a similar city in the east, south, and north of Tianwu City. At this time, Murong Yu was in a restaurant in Qingfeng City. When he was still a cultivator, he could already abstain from eating. However, there was no cultivator in the world who could really abstain from eating. After all, in the free time of cultivation, eating good food and drinking good wine was also a kind of enjoyment. Because there was still some time before the selection, Murong Yu went to the best restaurant in Qingfeng City, Qingfeng Restaurant, to try the food. Furthermore, he could also inquire about a lot of information in the restaurant. Murong Yu did not go to the private room on the 2nd floor. Instead, he casually found a seat on the 1st floor. There were many people here, and it was the best place to inquire about information. Hey, do you know who is most likely to be selected for the Sun Sect's disciple selection this time? A middle-aged man sitting at a table beside Murong Yu suddenly asked his companion. Nonsense, of course it's the 6 heavenly kings, District 4's top 8, and Tianwu's 36 scions. His companion looked at him with disdain. His companion angrily glared at him. The 6 heavenly kings, District 4's top 8, and Tianwu's 36 scions will definitely pass. What I mean is, other than them, who else can pass? Murong Yu's heart skipped a beat, and he listened attentively. The 6 heavenly kings are the 4 strongest people in the younger generation of the 6 major powers. It is said that they are half-step into the manifestation realm. It is even said that they can break through to the bright world realm. However, they are just suppressing their cultivation. There is no doubt that the 6 of them will enter the top 100. As for District 4's top 8, it is said that they are half-step into the bright world realm. They are the 8 strongest experts after the 6 heavenly kings. There are 4 districts in the east, west, north, and south, and there are exactly 2 of them in each district. There should be no suspense for them to pass. As for Tianwu's 36 scions, they are relatively weaker compared to the 6 heavenly kings and District 4's top 8. However, they are definitely the most outstanding disciples in the younger generation of the Tianwu world. There should be no suspense for them to enter the top 100. Someone slowly analyzed, but it allowed Murong Yu to understand the 6 heavenly kings, District 4's top 8, and Tianwu's 36 scions. Just the 6 heavenly kings, District 4's top 8, and Tianwu's 36 scions already occupy half of the spots. The other countless disciples can only fight for the remaining 50 spots. It's too cruel. Someone sighed. However, some people were not convinced. Could it be that the Tianwu world is so big, and there are so many cultivators, but there is no one in the younger generation who is stronger than the 6 heavenly kings, District 4's top 8, and Tianwu's 36 scions? Hearing that, the people beside him sneered. Not to mention that the 6 heavenly kings were the top geniuses nurtured by the 6 major powers in the Tianwu world. Even the District 4's top 8, although they were not nurtured by the 6 major powers, had a huge power behind them, which power was not second only to the 6 major powers. And the Tianwu's 36 scions' origins were not simple, they were the top experts nurtured by the 36 major powers. Although their powers were far inferior to the 6 major powers, they were only second to the District 4's top 8. And these 50 powers were the 50 strongest powers in the Tianwu world. They were the top geniuses nurtured by them. What could the others use to compete? Talent or resources? All the benefits had already been taken by the 50 powers. Even if there were people stronger than the Tianwu's 36 scions, without sufficient cultivation techniques and resources, their achievements would definitely not be able to compare to the Tianwu's 36 scions. This was the benefit of having a power. Perhaps the disciples selected this time are all from the 50 forces, someone said with a sigh. How could the strongest powers in the Tianwu world nurture a genius from each of them? It's just that the 6 heavenly kings, District 4's top 8, and other disciples were the best among them. In any case, I don't have extravagant hopes of entering the 100 spots. I just want to get into the top 10,000 and be noticed by some big power. Joining any of the 50 major powers is also my lifelong dream. Someone laughed mischievously. Listening to the discussions of the crowd, Murong Yu already had a preliminary understanding of these famous people. However, although these people's realms were higher than his, Murong Yu was still filled with confidence. He had an invincible heart. Invincible in the same realm, it was not just invincible in a small realm, it was invincible in a large realm. Although the life and death battles did not increase Murong Yu's strength, his battle prowess was steadily increasing. Moreover, he did not want to fight for first place, he only needed to appear. Suddenly, the crowd clamored. Hey, aren't those the Tianwu's 36 scions, Tianbao Tianqiatzi? Suddenly, an incomparably loud cry came from the crowd. Hearing this cry, Murong Yu could not help but spit. Tianbao, Tianqiatzi, and Tianqiatzi, aren't they 3 of the 36 constellations? Could it be that the so-called Tianwu's 36 scions were named after the 36 constellations of the heavenly spirits? How arrogant, they actually dare to name themselves after the 36 heavenly spirit. After spitting, Murong Yu said with disdain. He was not looking down on the Tianwu's 36 scions, but he felt that they were too arrogant. Bang! Before Murong Yu's voice fell, a black-faced youth beside him slapped the table fiercely. At the same time, he looked at Murong Yu with killing intent. Brat, what did you say? You dare to slander and look down on the Tianwu's 36 scions? Chapter 1895. Murong Yu was stunned as he looked at the black-faced youth, who had slammed the table, and stood up. What was going on? Murong Yu looked at him in confusion. Brat, are you looking down on the 36 Tianwu scions? Who do you think you are? Seeing Murong Yu look over, the black-faced youth roared with killing intent. Because of the black-faced youth's roar, everyone in the hall looked over. The majority of them had angry looks on their faces as they glared at Murong Yu. Murong Yu had actually angered everyone. This made him very stunned. After a long time, he finally reacted. Whether it was the 6 heavenly kings, the top 8 of the 4th district, or the 36 Tianwu scions, they all had a lot of worshippers in the Tianwu world. Of course, these worshippers were not believers and would not bring the power of faith to the 6 heavenly kings. However, these people blindly worshipped the 6 heavenly kings. As the saying goes, they were diehard fans. They madly worshipped the 6 heavenly kings. In their hearts, the 6 heavenly kings were perfect, the strongest, and could not be slandered by others. Obviously, this black-faced youth was a diehard fan of the 36 Tianwu scions, and Murong Yu's words just now were something they could not tolerate. Therefore, he slammed the table and stood up. Seeing everyone in the hall looking at him with killing intent, Murong Yu's face turned slightly gloomy. There was no lack of high-level chaotic void realm experts among these people, but Murong Yu was not afraid. He just did not want to cause trouble. A mere rank 3 chaotic void realm, an ant-like thing, dares to slander the 36 Tianwu scions? You deserve to die. A mean-looking woman sneered at Morongyu, her words sharp and unkind. Trash, kneel down and apologize to us, and cripple your own cultivation. A middle-aged man looked at Morongyu with killing intent, his face full of disdain. Kneel down and apologize and cripple your own cultivation. Immediately, someone echoed. Then, the die-hard fans in the hall all shouted. The terrifying aura surged towards Morongyu like a torrent. If it were any other Stage 3 Chaos Realm cultivator, they would have been scared to death by this scene. However, Morongyu's expression was only a little gloomy. He simply ignored these people. In his eyes, these die-hard fans were nothing. They were just a pile of trash. Little bastard, since you don't want to kneel down and apologize, I'll make you kneel down and apologize. The black-faced youth from before walked towards Morongyu with a murderous look on his face. As he approached Morongyu, he had already sent a palm strike towards Morongyu. Morongyu frowned slightly, and a cold, killing intent flashed in the depths of his eyes. The black-faced youth was a level 4 Chaotic Void Realm expert, so he was much stronger than a level 3 Chaotic Void Realm expert. If Morongyu was really only a level 3 Chaotic Space Realm expert, his head would have been smashed into pieces by the other party's palm. This guy actually wanted to kill Morongyu? Morongyu had nothing to do with him at all. He had only said one sentence. More importantly, that sentence had nothing to do with the black-faced youth. If you continue, you'll definitely die, Morongyu said coldly without even looking at him. Hearing Morongyu's words, the black-faced youth only laughed sinisterly. Not only did his hand not stop, but it also sped up, and the power it contained became even more terrifying. A murderous look flashed across Morongyu's heart. Since this black-faced youth wanted to kill him, then, swoosh. Everyone only saw a blur before an incomparably shrill scream erupted from the black-faced youth's mouth, instantly enveloping the entire hall. At this moment, everyone saw that the black-faced youth's hand had suddenly stopped in midair. At the same time, the black-faced youth's hand was pierced by a chopstick. Seeing this scene, everyone had an extremely absurd thought in their minds. The chopstick had nailed the black-faced youth's hand in the void. Nailed in the void. However, very quickly they shook their heads and sneered. There was nothing attached to the void, so how could it be nailed? It was not that they did not believe it, but it was simply impossible. However, as the person involved, the black-faced youth clearly knew that everyone's guess was not wrong. His hand was indeed nailed in the void. Moreover, what terrified the black-faced youth the most was that the chopstick seemed to contain an extremely terrifying power. No matter how he struggled, it did not move at all. It was as if it had existed in the void since ancient times. Furthermore, waves of intense, piercing pain continuously surged into his mind, stimulating all of his nerves. Even though he was a terrifying existence of level 4 Chaotic Space Realm, he could not help but scream loudly. Little bastard, you're courting death. A middle-aged man who was at the same table as the black-faced youth was first stunned when he saw this scene, then he reacted. After roaring loudly, he held a long saber in his hand and slashed at Morongyu's head. Swoosh. However, as soon as his saber slashed out, everyone saw a stream of light shoot past. After that, there was no more after that. A chopstick was trembling in the middle of the middle-aged man's forehead. The middle-aged man was also nailed in the void by Morongyu. Moreover, it seemed to be more serious than the black-faced youth's. This was because the middle-aged man no longer had any aura of life. The middle-aged man was already dead. The surrounding people immediately sucked in a breath of cold air. They did not see how Morongyu attacked at all. The key point was that both of them were level 4 Chaotic Space Realm. They were a small realm higher than Morongyu, but they were killed by Morongyu as if they were ants. Morongyu was definitely not a level 3 Chaotic Space Realm. He must be pretending to be weak. The surrounding people felt a chill in their hearts, but even more people were filled with murderous intent. Murong Yu had killed their people. Although they did not know each other before, they were all die-hard fans of the 36 Sky Martial disciples, so they were a group. Kill this little bastard. No matter how strong he is, he's only one person. He can't block all of our attacks at all. The mean-looking woman who had looked down on Murong Yu earlier screamed and attacked first, slashing her sword at Murong Yu. At the same time, most of the people in the hall attacked, all of them exploding with their strongest attacks to kill Murong Yu. Murong Yu's face darkened. It was really scary to encounter these die-hard fans. However, since these people wanted to kill him, they could all go to hell. Thus, Murong Yu casually grabbed a pair of chopsticks from the table and directly threw them out. Poof, poof, poof. After a series of muffled sounds, the chaotic space realm experts were nailed in the void one after another. In just an instant, more than a dozen people of different realms had been dealt with by Murong Yu. Moreover, Murong Yu did not show any mercy and directly killed them. In other words, these people were all dead. Murong Yu definitely would not show mercy to people who wanted to kill him. Moreover, even if he did not kill these die-hard fans, they would not let him off. Seeing Murong Yu's merciless attack, everyone in the hall was shocked. However, in the next moment, more attacks came at them, as if they were not afraid of Murong Yu at all. Murong Yu sneered. Since you are not afraid of death, then all of you can die because of your die-hard fans. As he spoke, Murong Yu repeatedly waved his hand. Chopsticks were shot out one after another. However, any chaotic space realm cultivator targeted by Murong Yu could not escape at all and was directly nailed in the void. After that, there was no more after that, because they were already dead. Although Murong Yu was only in the 3rd level of the chaotic space realm, his true strength was almost invincible in the chaotic space realm. There were high-level chaotic space realms among the people who attacked, but how could they be a match for him? Finally, after Murong Yu killed 40 to 50 people in a row, the remaining people were all scared out of their wit. Yes, they were die-hard fans. They would blindly worship the 36 Tianwu candidate. However, they also cherished their own lives. Previously, they had only wanted to rely on their numbers to kill Murong Yu. However, after seeing that they could not touch Murong Yu, they were finally afraid. A disdainful smile appeared on Murong Yu's face. Why are you scared? Not going to stand up for your idols? You trash. With trash fans like you, I'm afraid the 36 Tianwu candidates are nothing. Murong Yu was very unhappy to encounter such a situation for no reason. Therefore, even these people's idols made him unhappy. Hearing Murong Yu's words, the die-hard fans of the 36 Tianwu candidates were furious. However, in front of Murong Yu's despotic power, they dared to be angry but did not dare to say anything. Therefore, they could only glare angrily at Murong Yu, wishing that they could kill Murong Yu with their eyes. The 36 Tianwu candidates are indeed nothing much, but they are more than enough to kill trash like you. Just as the die-hard fans did not dare to make a sound, a cold voice containing monstrous anger suddenly sounded in the hall. At the same time, 3 figures slowly stepped in from outside. Swoosh! Everyone looked over, and the die-hard fans immediately became excited. It's Tianbazi, Tianweili, and Tianqiatzi. This little bastard is dead for sure. The die-hard fans became excited again, chattering non-stop as if Murong Yu had already been killed by these 3 people. Murong Yu also looked over. These 3 young men were most likely 3 of the heavenly martial 36 disciples. Their strength was not bad, having already reached level 9 of the Chaos Realm. Moreover, their strength far surpassed ordinary cultivators of the same realm. However, in Murong Yu's eyes, they were just a pile of trash. No, they were 3 piles of trash. You are 3 of the 36 piles of trash in the Tianwu candidates? Murong Yu looked at Tianbazi and the other 2 with a disdainful gaze, his words sharp and unkind. The 36 piles of trash in the Tianwu candidates? Hearing this, Tianbazi's 3 lungs were about to explode. This was naked contempt, trampling, and humiliation. Little bastard, you will definitely die today. Tianqiatzi was a handsome young man, but at this moment, his face was ashen as he slowly walked over. Terrifying killing intent erupted from his body like stormy waves, crazily attacking Murongyu. However, Murongyu did not move at all. Chapter 1896. Little bastard, die for me! Tian Xiaozi roared. He took a step forward and rushed in front of Murongyu. At the same time, he violently threw out a punch that carried a frightening aura capable of destroying the heavens and earth as it flew towards Murongyu. Murongyu shook his head. You didn't believe me when I said you were trash. With such trash strength, you still dare to come out and make a fool of yourself? Tianwu's 36 children? Trash like you dare to represent the Tianwu world's younger generation? You're really making me laugh my head off. Looking at the huge fist that was getting closer and closer, Murongyu still taunted him unhurriedly. Tian Xiaozi was incomparably furious. His killing intent soared. His power once again erupted. Today, he would kill this bastard with a single punch. But, why did my fist suddenly stop moving? Tian Xiaozi was puzzled and looked over. Looking over was not a big deal, but looking over gave him a big fright. Because his fist had been caught by a big hand. The person who caught him was none other than Murongyu. Tian Xiaozi was both shocked and angry. His terrifying power fiercely erupted. He wanted to shatter Murongyu's big hand with a single punch. But what made him despair was that Murongyu's big hand seemed to have existed since ancient times. No matter how he struggled, it remained motionless. On the contrary, as he struggled, Murongyu's big hand grabbed him tighter and tighter. Ka. A sound that made one's teeth ache continuously came from Tian Xiaozi's hand. After Tian Xiaozi, his hand bones were crushed by Murongyu. Die for me! Tian Xiaozi roared. He ruthlessly kicked Murongyu's lower body with a sinister kick. But even though he was fast, Murongyu was even faster. Just as Tian Xiaozi's kick was about to hit Murongyu, Murongyu's kick arrived first and ruthlessly kicked Tian Xiaozi's balls. Crack, the crisp sound of an egg breaking resounded throughout the entire hall. At this moment, all the men in the hall couldn't help but tremble and clamp their legs together. Even though Tian Xiaozi had already reached the 9th stage of the chaotic space realm, the intense pain of having his balls crushed still made his face turn ashen. His body instantly arched as he let out a miserable scream. Hearing this, the people in the lobby felt their legs tremble. What a despicable little bastard! You actually dare to use such despicable tricks! This little bastard is too insidious. We must kill him. Everyone in the hall began to curse at Murongyu. This made Murongyu's face even darker. Diehard fans were indeed extremely diehard. They didn't see Tian Xiaozi being sinister and despicable in the first place. On the contrary, it was Murongyu who became incomparably sinister and despicable, although Murongyu was indeed somewhat despicable. However, to deal with despicable people, one had to use even more despicable methods. Let go of Tian Xiaozi, or you will die. With a loud shout, Tian Baozi and Tian Weizi both roared and used their own methods to attack Murongyu. Furthermore, it was only when their attacks were about to land on Murongyu's body that they shouted. It was obvious that these two idiots were trying to sneak up on Murongyu. Murongyu was somewhat furious, but he soon felt relieved. These people mingled together all day long. They were definitely jackals of the same tribe, wearing the same pants. How noble and unquestionable integrity could one expect from them? This is the true face of Tianwu's 36 piles of trash, right? Despicable and shameless. Murongyu shook his head and sent Tian Xiaozi, who was still screaming miserably, flying with a kick. At the same time, he moved as fast as lightning. Slap, slap. 2 resounding slaps resounded in the lobby on the first floor. Following that, the diehard fans watched in horror as their 2 idols, who had been crowned as celestials, were sent flying by Murongyu's palm like sandbags. Pooh! Pooh! 2 balls of blood mixed with a white substance spurted out. As for Tian Baozi and Tian Weizi, they turned into streams of light and were sent flying by Morong Yu. None of this was real? How could their idols be so weak? This little bastard must have used some despicable and shameless method to plot against Tian Baozi and the other 2, and then defeated them. Yes, it must be so. The brainless fans instantly thought of a reason, and then they all looked at Morong Yu with murderous intent. However, no one dared to make a move. After all, their idols were sent flying by Morong Yu. How could they dare to go up? I said you guys are trash, but you guys are really trash. You can't even withstand a single blow. You guys really deserve the glorious title of Tianwu's 36 piles of trash. Morong Yu's face was full of disdain. In fact, Morong Yu wasn't pretending. He really didn't care. In fact, he was a little disappointed. The 6 heavenly kings, the top 8 of District 4, and the 36 disciples of Tianwu represented the younger generation of Tianwu world. They were also the 50 strongest people in the chaotic realm. But they couldn't even withstand a single blow? Ah! Little bastard, I'm going to kill you! At this moment, a roar that could shatter the sky exploded. At the same time, an extremely terrifying aura erupted from the lobby, suppressing the souls of the brainless fans and causing them to tremble. Morong Yu's eyes flashed, and he turned to look. He saw Tian Baozi, whose clothes were tattered and stained with blood, striding over with murderous intent. He was holding a long spear in his hand. The incomparably terrifying aura was being emitted from this long spear. It was a bright world realm origin artifact. Moreover, Tian Baozi could already activate most of its power. Now, Tian Baozi's strength was comparable to an expert who had just broken through to the bright world realm. Boom! At this moment, Tian Xiaozi, who had been hugging his egg and crying in pain, slowly approached with murderous intent. Similarly, he also had a bright world realm origin artifact in his hand. He could also activate the power of this origin artifact. It was a dagger. Morong Yu looked at Tian Baozi. As one of Tianwu's 36 piles of trash, there was no reason for Tian Baozi and Tian Xiaozi to have bright world realm origin artifacts while Tian Baozi didn't. As expected, Tian Baozi also had one. However, when Morong Yu saw the origin artifact in his hand, he couldn't help but spit. Why was that? Because Tian Baozi's bright world realm origin artifact was actually a morning staff. Morning staff, Tian Baozi, and that dead face, they were a perfect match. The 3 masters are about to get serious. Hurry up and leave. One of the die-hard fans in the lobby shouted and then left the lobby first. Thus, in the blink of an eye, only Morong Yu and the 3 piles of trash were left in the hall. No, it should be the 3 of Tianwu's 36 disciples. Tian Baozi and the other 2 slowly closed in on Morong Yu. With every step they took, their auras increased by a knot. They all knew how powerful Morong Yu was. They were prepared to kill Morong Yu in one blow. However, Morong Yu still stood in place with a calm expression. He didn't move at all. Seeing Morong Yu's reaction, Tian Baozi and the other 2 laughed in their hearts. As one of Tianwu's 36 disciples, were they really so weak? Spear piercing the firmament, cudgel smashing the universe, shattering the void. When the 3 closed in on Morong Yu, their aura had already reached the peak. Thus, the 3 of them roared at almost the same time and attacked at the same time. Rumble, this was their all-out attack. After an earth-shattering explosion, everything in the hall was instantly turned to dust. A terrifying aura penetrated the hall's walls and swept in all directions. Plop, plop, in the blink of an eye, those brainless fans outside the restaurant were directly suppressed by this terrifying aura and fell to the ground in a dog-eat-shit posture. The frightening power almost caused some of the die-hard fans to explode. This was the aura of a bright world realm ancestor. A brainless fan who had seen a bright world realm ancestor fight cried out in surprise. Then, the brainless fans were pleasantly surprised. The three sirs have all unleashed Bright World Realm Ancestor level attack. That little bastard must be dead. Let him slander the sirs. Ha ha. All the brainless fans were beaming with joy, as if they had killed Murong-yu. However, compared to their happiness, the three piles of trash in the restaurant's hall, no, Tian Baozi and the other two's hearts sank. They had already unleashed their strongest attacks, but they were still unable to kill Murong-yu. In fact, not to mention killing Murong-yu, they couldn't even tear the corner of Murong-yu's clothes. This was because Murong-yu had just stood there and taken their attacks. Their strongest attacks were unable to kill Murong-yu. The three of them looked at each other, then their figures flashed and they were about to retreat. They were actually going to escape. They were one of the 36 disciples of the Sky Martial Kingdom, and they weren't stupid people. Since they weren't Murong-yu's match, when were they going to escape if not now? However, would Murong-yu let them escape? Just as they were retreating, Murong-yu attacked. In almost an instant, he threw out 3 punches. 3 punches! All of them landed on the backs of the three. The terrifying fist energy exploded and sent the 3 of them flying, causing them to spit out blood. Immediately after, Murong-yu made his move again. He stretched out his hand, grabbed all of them, and threw them to the ground. Impossible! You're only at level 3 Chaotic Space Realm. How can you take the attacks of 3 Bright World Realm Ancestors? Tian Baozi looked at Murong-yu in shock. Murong-yu looked at the 3 of them pitifully and shook his head. Do you think I'm too strong? No, you're wrong. You're too weak. You're too weak. We're too weak? Tian Baozi couldn't help but murmur. Confusion gradually appeared on his face. Then, he gradually became addicted and couldn't extricate himself. Murong-yu smiled coldly and disappeared from the hall in a flash. He didn't kill the 3 of them. Because of his attacks, an indelible knot had formed in their hearts. If this knot couldn't be untied, they would be like this for the rest of their lives. As for whether they were too weak, that was impossible. Even a rank 1 Bright World Realm Ancestor would have been blasted into smithereens by their attack. It wasn't that they were too weak, but Murong-yu was too strong. Chapter 1897. After leaving the Green Peak restaurant, Murong-yu's expression became solemn. He might have blocked it easily just now, and even withstood the attacks of the 3 great Tianwu 36 Tianwu scions that were equivalent to Bright World Realm Ancestors. But in reality, the strength of the Tianwu 36 scions could not be underestimated. It was not that they were too weak, but that Murong-yu was too strong. Because although Murong-yu was only at level 3 Chaotic Space Realm, the spatial laws he controlled were much stronger than the spatial laws of the 3. In terms of comprehension of laws, the Tianwu 36 scions were also at the top. When attacking, combined with the spatial laws, the power was at least a few times stronger than a pure battle skill. However, the gap between them was that their comprehension of spatial laws was far inferior to Murong-yu's. Furthermore, they only comprehended the laws, while Murong-yu cultivated the laws of space. Just now, it seemed that the attacks of the 3 had directly landed on Murong-yu's body. However, in the blink of an eye, Murong-yu had used the power of the spatial laws to dodge the attack. It looked like they had slashed on Murong-yu's body, but in reality, they had only slashed on the void. Moreover, their attacks had been guided into the depths of space by Murong-yu. Therefore, Murong-yu looked as if nothing had happened. In reality, he had not been attacked at all, so of course he would act as if nothing had happened. The Tianwu 36 scions cannot be underestimated. These 3 fellows are only the last 3 of the Tianwu 36 scions. If they are ranked first, how strong is he? Not to mention, there are still the top 8 of the Tianwu 36 scions. Above the top 8 there are still the 6 heavenly kings. Murong-yu thought in his heart, but his eyes were already flickering with a terrifying light. He gradually became excited. He longed to fight with these top geniuses of the Tianwu world. After coming to the Tianwu world, the weakest Murong-yu had faced was a Bright World Realm Ancestor. Therefore, Morong Yu had always been in a very sorry state. He had spent most of his time being hunted down. However, even though he was in such a sorry state, it was only because his opponents were too powerful. They were a whole realm stronger than him, and there was even a terrifying existence who was half a step into the blessed realm. However, being able to spar with these ancestors was of great benefit to Morong Yu. Under the pressure of life and death, Morong Yu's battle strength continued to rise. He hadn't made any breakthroughs in his cultivation because he hadn't accumulated enough power. However, he was constantly improving in all other aspects. Once he accumulated enough power, he would be able to advance to the next level without any suspense. It was impossible to test Morong Yu's strength by fighting the great ancestors who were too weak. Therefore, Morong Yu longed to fight with top geniuses who were at the same level as him. After defeating the 36 children, Morong Yu left Qingfeng City and flew towards the Tianwu city. There was no teleportation array between the two cities, so this was the only way. Soon, Morong Yu arrived at the west gate of Heaven Martial City. After taking a look at the majestic city walls, Morong Yu walked towards the queue. There was no choice. One couldn't fly into Heaven Martial City directly from the sky. One could only enter through the city gate. Moreover, one had to pay a certain amount of crystals. Moreover, because the Sun sect was recruiting disciples, too many people flocked over. When Morong Yu was queuing, the queue had already stretched for several miles. Morong Yu couldn't help but feel depressed. However, he had no choice but to line up. He wasn't a big shot, so he couldn't cut the queue. However, at least there were powerful cultivators here, so the queue moved very quickly. Not long after, it was almost Morong Yu's turn. "Brat, I'll buy your seat." A ferocious voice suddenly rang in Morong Yu's ears as he was bored waiting in line. Morong Yu was shocked. There was someone who wanted to buy a spot in the queue? "Kid, are you selling or not?" Seeing Morong Yu's shocked expression, the man thought that Morong Yu had been scared stiff. Thus, he impatiently shouted with a murderous look on his face. Morong Yu indifferently glanced at the man. "I'm not selling. You're courting death." The man was enraged. He reached out his hand and slapped Morong Yu's face. Morong Yu's eyes flashed with a terrifying cold light. He looked coldly at the man. "If you don't take back your dog's paw, I'll take it for you." The man was laughing in his heart, but suddenly, an intense aura of death rose in his heart. Immediately, he was startled and quickly retreated backward. "Idiot!" Morong Yu said in disdain. Then, he took a few steps forward. Because there were more than 10 people in front of him, it would be his turn to enter the city. As for why the man didn't buy a spot from the people in front of Morong Yu, it was very simple. The people in front of Morong Yu were all high-level Morong Yu. Only Morong Yu was a pushover in the level 3 chaotic realm. Therefore, the man naturally chose Morong Yu as his target. "Trash. You can't even buy a spot. What's the use of having you?" At that moment, a group of people walked over. A young man who looked to be in his 20s walked in front of the man who had bought a spot from Morong Yu and started punching and kicking him. The man didn't dare to resist at all and could only passively take the beating. However, his eyes were filled with hatred as he glared at Morong Yu. It was as if he had transferred all his hatred to Morong Yu. Morong Yu only looked at him in disdain. He was just an ant. If he dared to provoke him again, he would just trample him to death. "Kid, you're very good. How dare you reject young Master Yun? Do you know who I, young Master Yun, am? You're dead meat." A sinister voice was heard. It was the young man. Morong Yu couldn't be bothered with him. At the same time, he was puzzled. This fool actually bought a spot. Why didn't he just bribe the guards with crystals? Wouldn't that mean he didn't even need to line up? Seeing that Morong Yu actually ignored him, young Master Yun's eyes were filled with killing intent. He wanted to order people to hack Morong Yu to death, but in the end, he looked fearfully in the direction of the city gate and didn't dare to make a move. In the end, young Master Yun threatened the few people behind Murong Yu and bought their spots. Little bastard, after entering Heaven Martial City, it will be your death. Just you wait. Young Master Yun was talking nonsense behind Murong Yu. When he heard Murong Yu, he was infuriated and wanted to turn around and slap him to death. However, in the end, Murong Yu endured it. Didn't young Master Yun say that he could kill him after entering the city? When the time came, let's see who would kill who. Murong Yu's heart was already filled with murderous intent as she kept calling him a little bastard. Soon, after paying 100 crystals, Murong Yu entered the city gate. However, before he could take a few steps, an arrogant and hateful voice came from behind him. Chop that little bastard up and feed him to the dogs. Bastard, how dare you not give me, young Master Yun, face? You're really courting death. Who else could it be other than that fool, young Master Yun? Swish. Young Master Yun had a few guards by his side. After hearing young Master Yun's order, the few guards, including the man who was beaten up by young Master Yun, rushed forward and surrounded Murong Yu. Then, each of them slowly approached with a sinister smile. The weakest among them was at level 3 Chaos Realm, while the strongest was at level 5 Chaos Realm. Kid, kneel down and kowtow to young Master Yun, then I'll let you die a quick death. Otherwise, who in the Heaven Martial City doesn't know of our young Master Yun's cruel methods? The man who asked Murong Yu to buy a seat previously smiled sinisterly and took large strides towards Murong Yu with a venomous expression. Murong Yu ignored them and slowly turned to look at young Master Yun. At the same time, he revealed a smile on his face. Young Master Yun, what rank is your Yun family in the Heaven Martial City? Young Master Yun revealed a sinister smile. Our Yun family is naturally a level 5 force. Are you afraid? However, it's too late. Even if you kneel down and kowtow, you'll definitely die today. Heaven Martial City was the largest city in the Heaven Martial world and was controlled by the 6 great forces. However, the headquarters of the 6 great forces were not here. In Heaven Martial City, other than the 6 great forces, there were thousands of other forces and families. These families were divided into 9 ranks according to the strength of their ancestors. Families with level 9 Bright World Realm ancestors were considered level 9 forces. Level 8 forces were those with level 8 Bright World Realm ancestors, and so on and so forth. If a force did not even have a Bright World Realm ancestor, then sorry to say, these forces were all classified as unrated forces. There were more forces in Heaven Martial City. Level 5 force meant that the Yun family had level 5 Bright World Realm ancestors, and there might be more than one. Based on this, the Yun family could be considered a mid-tier force in Heaven Martial City. Murong Yu nodded and suddenly said, I didn't expect a level 5 force like the Yun family to eat sh*t every day. Why is your mouth so smelly? The surrounding people were stunned. When they saw Murong Yu asking young Master Yun in a serious manner, they thought that Murong Yu was afraid and was measuring the Yun family's power. However, they did not expect Murong Yu to say such a thing. When they reacted, the surrounding people could not help but spit. However, young Master Yun's expression was extremely ugly. What are you guys still standing there for? Beat this little bastard to death. Young Master Yun roared with an ashen face. Slap. However, before he could finish his sentence, he was slapped hard on the face. Then, young Master Yun saw himself flying up by himself. He even saw a blood-red firework. Young Master Yun could not help but feel baffled. He did not fly up, so how did he fly up by himself? However, the pain on his face made him wake up very quickly. It was not that he flew up, but that he was sent flying by someone. When he reached out to touch, half of his face was gone. Instantly, young Master Yun was enraged. Kill this little bastard. No, don't kill him. I want him to suffer a fate worse than death. Seeing the flustered and exasperated young Master Yun, his lackeys shuddered and immediately pounced on Murong Yu. If they could not take down Murong Yu, they would definitely die. Chapter 1898. Get lost if you don't want to die. Murong Yu shouted coldly. He was truly enraged. He did not know these people at all and did not provoke them. Yet, they wanted to kill him? Young Master Yun's lackeys paused for a moment when they heard him, but they quickly pounced on him. No matter how powerful Murong Yu was, he was only a level 3 chaotic void realm cultivator. There were level 5 chaotic void realm cultivators among them, which was enough to kill Murong Yu. Therefore, the crowd continued to pounce on Murong Yu. Moreover, each of them unleashed a terrifying power in an attempt to suppress Murong Yu. It's over. This young man is finished. He's only a level 3 chaotic void realm cultivator, and offended young Master Yun. His future is bleak. Seeing the lackeys attacking, the surrounding people could not help but shake their heads and sigh. Although young Master Yun's clan was only considered a middle-class clan in Heaven Marshal City, young Master Yun was notorious and many people recognized him. However, although these people were furious at young Master Yun for killing the innocent, they did not dare to voice their anger. They were not strong, so how could they dare to go against a 5th-grade clan? A cold murderous intent flashed across Murong Yu's brows. He immediately used his fingers like a sword and slashed out. Puff, puff, puff. After a few muffled sounds, a few clouds of blood mist bloomed in the void. The surrounding people were shocked. They saw young Master Yun's ferocious lackeys, pouncing on Murong Yu being slashed in half by Murong Yu's sword. Plop, the corpses fell to the ground, but there was no longer any sign of life. Their souls had been shattered by Murong Yu, and they could not be more dead. Little bastard, how dare you kill my Yun clan's people? You're dead meat. Young Master Yun had already stood up. When he saw Murong Yu killing his lackeys, he pointed at Murong Yu furiously and screamed. Noisy! Murong Yu shouted coldly and stomped young Master Yun, who had just stood up, to the ground. Meanwhile, Murong Yu's huge foot stomped young Master Yun's head deep into the ground. Little bastard, you're dead for sure. No one can save you now that you've offended our Yun family. You're dead meat. Young Master Yun was still shrieking furiously. His voice was filled with resentment. The people around them shook their heads and looked at young Master Yun with disdain. This fellow was indeed a big idiot. Even though he was being stepped on, he did not beg for mercy. Instead, he was threatening the other party? Murong Yu didn't get angry. Instead, he laughed. You think I don't dare to kill you? Little bastard, our Yun family has a level 5 bright world realm ancestor overseeing it. If you dare to kill me, you will die without a doubt. Young Master Yun hooted. He was not worried that Murong Yu would dare to kill him. However, before he could finish his sentence, a strong force was applied to his body. Then, young Master Yun heard the sound of a skull shattering. Then, his vision turned black, and he slowly lost consciousness. How dare he kill me? How dare he kill me? Young Master Yun finally reacted. Wasn't the sound of his skull being stepped on? Idiot! Murong Yu sneered and turned to leave. However, before he left, he still took away young Master Yun's spatial treasure. After killing young Master Yun, his spatial treasure was naturally Murong Yu's spoils of war. The surrounding people were stunned by Murong Yu. Murong Yu, a mere level 3 chaotic realm, dared to kill a member of a 5th-grade family on the street? Although Heaven Marshal City didn't prohibit killing for revenge, wasn't this too blatant? Young man, the Yun family isn't anything good. They're very protective of their own. You'd better leave Heaven Marshal City quickly. Just as Murong Yu was about to leave, an old man suddenly advised. Murong Yu nodded slightly at the old man. If he was afraid of the Yun family, he wouldn't have killed young Master Yun on the street. Wasn't it just a 5th-grade family? He wasn't even afraid of the 6th-grade families. At most, he could just change his appearance again. You want to leave after killing someone from my Yun family? At that moment, a cold voice came from afar. Then, before the voice could finish, a figure appeared in front of Murong Yu. It was a young man in his 20s. Of course, this was only his appearance. Who knew how young he really was? Third young Master Yun. Seeing this person, the surrounding people couldn't help but exclaim. At the same time, they had already retreated. It was obvious that they were afraid of the third young Master Yun. Murong Yu looked over. The third young Master Yun's strength was not bad. At least, his cultivation level was much higher than his. He had already reached level 7 Chaotic Realm. At that moment, the third young Master Yun had already unleashed the terrifying aura of a level 7 Chaotic Realm. He crazily suppressed Murong Yu, wanting to kill Murong Yu. However, Murong Yu had easily defeated the 36 Sky Martial Disciples, let alone the third young Master Yun. In his eyes, the third young Master Yun's aura attack was full of loopholes and was extremely laughable. Kneel down and kill yourself. Otherwise, I will make you suffer a fate worse than death. The third young Master Yun looked at Murong Yu with disdain. Murong Yu stopped as an impatient expression appeared on his face. Scram! Otherwise, I will send you to meet young Master Yun. What a little bastard! The third young Master Yun was furious. He stretched out his large hand and turned it into a sharp claw. He grabbed at Murong Yu's head, wanting to crush Murong Yu's head. A cold murderous intent flashed in Murong Yu's eyes. He was really sick of these little bastards. Therefore, he threw out a punch without even looking at it. Crack! The third young Master Yun's face suddenly revealed a look of pain. The reason was that his claw had already been crushed by Murong Yu's punch. However, Murong Yu's fist was invincible. It didn't even pause for a moment and directly landed on the third young Master Yun's body. With a loud boom, the third young Master Yun let out a cry of pain. His entire body was blasted apart. After that, there was no more after that. His soul had been crushed by Murong Yu's punch, and he had gone to the underworld with young Master Yun. After taking the third young Master Yun's space treasure, Murong Yu left. As for the Yun family, he had never been afraid of them. Not long after, Murong Yu found an inn and booked a room. Due to the Sun Sect's recruitment, these inns were almost full, and the price had skyrocketed. However, who asked Murong Yu to have so many crystals when he didn't have much? One must know that he had the entire treasury of the Sky Sea Sect. In the Hichu Luoshu, Murong Yu was about to throw away young Master Yun's space treasure when a look of surprise appeared on his face. Originally, he was not interested in the space treasure of a little bastard like young Master Yun. After all, what kind of treasure could this little bastard have? Now that Murong Yu had the entire treasury of the Sky Sea Sect, his standards were very high. He took young Master Yun's space treasure because he did not want to waste it. However, he did not expect to find something when he probed it with his divine telekinesis. With a single thought, a palm-sized, irregular black object that looked like metal appeared in Murong Yu's hand. It did not look like metal, but Murong Yu could not tell what material it was made of. However, it did not matter. What Murong Yu saw was an extremely powerful light. This small object did not give off any powerful aura, and no one would pick it up even if it was left on the street. However, the light it emitted was comparable to a top-notch bright world realm origin artifact. It was almost comparable to a creation realm origin artifact. What was this? Murong Yu immediately started studying it out of curiosity. Soon, he realized that his divine telekinesis could not penetrate it. This is a star core. Hichu's surprised voice rang in Murong Yu's mind. What is a star core? Murong Yu did not understand. A star core is the core of a planet. It contains the power of the entire planet, Hichu explained. It contained the power of the entire planet, but even the most ordinary planet had more power than that, right? Although the crystal core in Murong Yu's hand contained the power of a half-step to the creation realm expert, it was still a little weak compared to the power of an entire planet. Murong Yu estimated that even the power of a mediocre planet like the Holy World would not be inferior to a creation realm expert. This is an incomplete star core, and it's only a star core of the lowest level planet. It doesn't contain much power, but the power is very pure. It can even be directly devoured for cultivation, Hichu explained. Morong-yu was shocked. If a star core can be directly used for cultivation, then wouldn't those experts have gone to refine planets? Hichu laughed. Not every planet has a star core. Only a planet that has died due to normal aging will have a star core. Otherwise, even if a planet is crushed and compressed, a star core will not appear. Therefore, even in the endless starry sky, a star core is a rare treasure. Every time one appears, it will cause a bloodbath. Morong-yu was even more confused. The power contained in the star core in his hand was at most equivalent to a half-step to the creation realm expert. A creation realm expert would not be interested in it. How could it cause a bloodbath? Actually, the most precious thing about a star core is not its pure power, but the various principles and insights contained in it. A star core contains all the principles and insights of a planet's birth, growth, and destruction. These principles and insights are something that even experts of higher realms need. Do you know the difference between the creation realm and the bright world realm? A bright world realm expert can cultivate the laws of time, but a creation realm expert can already create things out of thin air. However, it was not something that every half-step to the blessed realm expert could achieve. This is because they have not comprehended how to create things. If they can't comprehend it for a day, they will never be able to break through, even if they have enough power. Although you are not afraid that you can't comprehend it, or that you don't need to comprehend it at all. However, this star core also has great benefits for you. Morong-yu's emotions surged. The creation realm was actually creating things, creating all things? Then what was after the creation realm? Could it be the creation of the world? Creation of the world, and then destruction of the world? The birth of heaven and earth, growth, and then destruction. This was a cycle that would last for a long time. All things in heaven and earth were born from chaos, and after destruction, they would return to chaos. What was a chaos controller? To become a chaos controller, one had to learn how to create things, create the world, and then destroy it. This cycle would last for a long time. Perhaps this was the true essence of being a chaos controller? All of a sudden, Morong-yu came to a realization. Chapter 1899. These epiphanies could not increase Morong-yu's realm and combat strength. However, once these epiphanies appeared, they would gradually germinate and grow in Morong-yu's body. This would allow Morong-yu's future cultivation path to be smoother, and he would take fewer detours to become a chaos controller. Young Master Yun is such a good person. Morong-yu stared at the incomplete crystal core in his hand and could not help but laugh. If young Master Yun had not taken the initiative to ask for a beating, why would Morong-yu have killed him? Without young Master Yun, how would he have obtained young Master Yun's spatial treasure? How would he have obtained such a precious treasure? That was a star core, a precious treasure that even ancestral patriarchs in the blessed realm and terrifying experts in higher realms would fight for. However, Morong-yu now had a problem. Was he going to refine the star core? Or not to refine it? He was only at level 3 chaotic space realm now, and there was still a long way to go before he reached the creation realm. If he refined it now, even if he comprehended the birth, growth, and destruction of a planet, he would not be able to combine it with his cultivation situation to maximize the benefit. Although he could definitely increase his realm after refining it, it seemed a little wasteful. However, if he did not refine it, his realm would still be too low even though he was powerful. Even if he was invincible in the same realm, it would still be a little difficult to fight across realms. How powerful were the 6 heavenly kings? After thinking about it, Morong-yu definitely did not refine it for the time being. This was because he did not want to obtain first place at all. He just needed to appear. After putting away the star core, Morong Yu was about to meet up with Zhao Jiqing and a few others. However, at that moment, the door of the inn he was in was kicked open with a bang. Morong Yu's heart sank, and he immediately walked out of the Hichu Luoshu. A group of people filed in, all of them brimming with killing intent. People from the Yun family? Morong Yu looked over and realized that the people who entered were all young people. At least, they all looked young. 6 of them. Not only were they young, but their strength was also similar. They were both at level 9 of the chaotic space realm. You are Morong Yu? The young man in the lead looked at Morong Yu with disdain and asked indifferently. His gaze was as if he was looking at an ant. That's right. Morong Yu looked at him and said indifferently. All right, it's you. Was it you who defeated Tian Baozi and the others? Furthermore, you said that we, the 36 children of the Sky Martial Kingdom, are trash? A youth jumped out and looked at Morong Yu with a murderous look. At this time, the matter of Morong Yu defeating Tian Baozi and the rest had already spread out. Of course, what circulated the most was Morong Yu's classic words, Tianwu's 36 piles of trash. Morong Yu's heart skipped a beat. His eyes narrowed slightly and a smile appeared on his face. Oh, so you are also one of the 36 piles of trash in the Sky Martial Kingdom. Tell me, what are you doing here? The 6 of them were enraged, their killing intent skyrocketing. The 36 children of the Sky Martial Kingdom usually walked together. It could be said that they were of the same breath and branch. Not only were they humiliated by Morong Yu, but Tian Baozi was also defeated and humiliated. Naturally, they were here to cause trouble. Courting death. It was the same youth who spoke before. He roared and shot in front of Morong Yu. His invincible divine fist smashed towards Morong Yu's head. Not only did the other 6 not stop him, they sneered instead. They also wanted to attack, but the opportunity was snatched away. A cold killing intent flashed across Morong Yu's eyes. Because he felt a strong killing intent from this youth. These people wanted to kill him. One had to know that he did not know them. Bang! The pupils of Tian Kongzi and the rest constricted. Just now, in the instant that Tian Kongzi's fist was about to explode Morong Yu's head, Morong Yu also made a move. To be precise, it was Morong Yu who made a move. He did not use any magical ability or battle skill, just a kick. One kick landed on Tian Kongzi's abdomen, kicking until Tian Kongzi's entire body bent, and he was directly sent flying. Tian Kongzi let out a miserable scream. Although Morong Yu showed mercy and did not shatter his dantian, Morong Yu's power poured into his body and started wreaking havoc inside. If he could not expel Morong Yu's power, he would live in agony for the rest of his life. What a vicious little bastard, die for me! Tian Kongzi's strength was still the strongest among the 5. He blocked Tian Yitzi and the other 3 who were about to attack. Taking a step forward, he attacked Morong Yu. Morong Yu could not help laughing from extreme anger. You trash came in and wanted to kill me. I only injured that trash and you say I'm vicious? You really know how to play the blame game. But it doesn't matter. Trash like you delivered yourself to my door for me to beat. It would be a waste not to beat you up. As he spoke, Morong Yu also attacked. In a flash, Tian Kongzi also let out a miserable scream. Then, half of his face was smashed by Morong Yu's palm, and he was directly sent flying. Morong Yu did not stop there. He stretched out his hand and attacked repeatedly. Tian Yitzi and the other 2 were also beaten to the ground. Although the 36 Tianwu Scions were the elites of the Tianwu world's chaotic realm, they were only below the 6 heavenly kings and the top 8 of the 4th region. However, they had encountered Morong Yu, an invincible chaotic realm fellow. Tian Kongzi and the others were indeed strong. They were even stronger than peak chaotic realm ancestors. However, as long as their strength did not surpass the chaotic realm, they were not Morong Yu's match. So what if they surpassed the bright world realm? They were still not Morong Yu's match. That was because Murong Yu's spatial and temporal laws were of a higher level than theirs. As long as they were not true bright world realm ancestors, they were definitely not Murong Yu's match. In fact, they could not even withstand a single blow. With a few punches, Murong Yu beat Tian Kongzi and the other two to the ground. As for Tian Kongzi and the other two, they had charged in with great momentum. They had even broken through the door and entered, attracting a lot of people. Now, many people had seen this scene. However, the crowd was very quiet because they were all stunned by Murong Yu. Almost everyone knew the 36 Tianwu Scions, and the 36 Tianwu Scions had always been high and mighty. They were their idols. But now, Murong Yu had beaten them to the ground with a single punch. They did not believe it. Murong Yu stretched out his hand and directly took away their spatial treasures. In fact, Murong Yu had even forcibly taken away their treasures. However, after thinking about it, he decided to forget about it. If he did that, the sects behind these people might jump out. After bullying the young, the old would naturally jump out. Although Murong Yu was not afraid, he did not want to cause more trouble. After all, the sects behind the 36 Tianwu Scions were also the top in the Tianwu world. Scram. Go back and wash your dog eyes clean. Properly recognize who is not someone you can offend. Murong Yu kicked Tian Kongzi and the other three away and said expressionlessly, "This is the strength of the 36 Tianwu Scions? I heard that Tian Baozi and the other two were beaten by a cultivator who was only in the third level of the chaotic world realm. I did not believe it at that time, but I believe it now. Damn, are the 36 Tianwu Scions all trash? They can't even beat a third-level chaotic world realm. I am really blind. To think that I used to be their die-hard fan. Damn, this kind of trash is not worthy of my worship. I was wrong to worship them." A middle-aged man fiercely spat and said angrily, "That's right. This kind of fame-fishing thing is not worthy of our worship. The 36 Tianwu Scions, I think it's more like the 36 piles of trash." Angry shouts continuously came from the crowd. Damn, I really suspect that these bastards have today's fame. Is it because their sects work together to hype it up? Is it to trick us? Yes, it must be like that. Hearing that, the surrounding crowd suddenly understood. Murong Yu was stunned. He did not expect that his actions would turn these die-hard fans into passers-by and then become fans. This was definitely a huge blow to the 36 Tianwu Scions. I wonder what they are thinking? Tian Kongzi and the other five's expressions were very ugly. They silently stood up and stared at Murong Yu with incomparably resentful eyes. "Murong Yu, we, the 36 Tianwu Scions, will remember you." Tian Kongzi looked at Murong Yu and said calmly. However, the venomous look in his eyes only increased. "Scram, trash!" Before Murong Yu could say anything, the surrounding people began to chase them away. This was the terrifying part of die-hard fans. If they were still die-hard fans, they would protect you at all costs. However, if they became fans, they would not show any mercy. Tian Kongzi and the other five wanted to leave behind some ruthless words before leaving. However, seeing more and more people gathering, they finally shook their heads and left. If they did not leave, these fans would throw tomatoes and eggs at them. Murong Yu turned around and was about to enter his room. "Murong Yu, good job. You must defeat the 36 Tianwu Scions and ruthlessly trample them to death." At this moment, an angry roar came from the crowd. "That's right. Trample all those fame-fishing trash. We support you." Murong Yu's face darkened. These people seemed to have become his die-hard fans? Unfortunately, the difference between fans and believers was too big. No matter how much these people worshipped, they were still unable to provide Murong Yu with the power of faith. Speaking of the power of faith, almost everyone in the holy world was Murong Yu's believer. However, the power of faith was getting weaker and weaker. It was less and less helpful to him. The power of faith did not decrease. On the contrary, it was constantly increasing. However, the strength of the people in the holy world was too low. The level of the power of faith was also too low. It was not of much help to Morongyu. Should I occupy a few origin planets, rule them and make them my believers? Morongyu suddenly had this thought. What's the use of one origin planet? If I want to rule, I will rule the entire solar system. Another thought appeared in Morongyu's mind. Chapter 1900. The solar system was a gigantic region made up of countless stars. As long as he unified the solar system, Morongyu would have the ability to make everyone in the solar system his followers, providing him with an endless supply of faith power. Furthermore, unifying the solar system was different from unifying the holy world. To become the master of the holy world, one had to be recognized by the origin energy of the holy world. Otherwise, even if a rebirth or chaos realm expert entered the holy world and suppressed all living beings, they would still not be able to become the master of the holy world. However, it was different in the solar system. One did not need to be recognized by the origin energy. Otherwise, with so many stars in the solar system, who could be recognized by the origin energy of all the stars? Moreover, if there was such a powerful person, he would not need to become the master of the solar system. Therefore, to become the master of the solar system, one only needed to have sufficient strength and support. However, it was not easy to become the master of the solar system. One had to be at least at the peak of the manifestation realm, or even higher. To become the master of the solar system, one only needed to become the leader of the solar sect. According to the Demonis, the lunar sect and the solar sect were the two strongest forces in the solar system. However, the position of the master of the solar system had always been held by the solar sect. In other words, Morongyu becoming a disciple of the solar sect was not wrong. These were all things for the future. Morongyu did not think too much about it. Thinking too much would be biting off more than he could chew. Morongyu did not have such a habit. Morongyu, get out here! Originally, Morongyu wanted to return to his room. Although the door was broken, he could just set up a restriction. However, before he could return to his room, a voice filled with killing intent sounded. Morongyu's face darkened. His ability to attract hatred was too strong. Ever since he came to the Tianwu world, he had never been at peace. He was not the one looking for trouble. It was the trouble that came looking for him. Was he easy to bully? A cold killing intent flashed past Morongyu's eyes. Since these people liked to look for trouble, he would beat them all to death. Beat them until they were afraid. Beat them until they trembled when they heard his name. Would they still dare to look for trouble then? Thus, he turned around and flew away from the inn. Which bastard is calling me? Morongyu was angry that he was constantly being harassed. His words were not polite at all. Boom! Before Morongyu's voice fell, a shocking saber light split the sky, carrying an incomparably terrifying aura as it crazily slashed down. Sneak attack? Morongyu's killing intent soared. He threw out a punch. Boom! After an earth-shattering explosion, the shocking saber light was directly shattered into pieces and exploded. At this time, Morongyu also moved. He took a step forward and disappeared from where he stood in a flash. When he reappeared, he was already in the void in front of a middle-aged man. The middle-aged man was holding a powerful origin tool in his hand as he looked ahead in shock. It was obvious that he was still in a state of shock from the fact that Morongyu had shattered his saber chi with a single punch. Morongyu took a step forward. Boom! His large foot was like a mountain as it fiercely suppressed the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man quickly reacted and was about to retreat in a flash. However, it was too late. Morongyu's large foot had already ruthlessly stepped on his head. A terrifying power erupted and directly stomped the middle-aged man's head deep into his abdomen. Then, the middle-aged man fell from the void and smashed a huge crater in the ground. Then, there was no then this time. This was because the middle-aged man's life force had already disappeared when Morongyu stepped on his head. That's young Master Yun. It is said that he is at the peak of the chaotic realm, and his strength is extremely terrifying. He is comparable to the 36 Tianwu Science. Someone recognized the middle-aged man's identity and exclaimed in surprise. Stomping a peak chaotic realm expert to death with a single step? This was not shocking. As long as one was a bright world realm ancestor, they could do it. However, Morong Yu was only at level 3 chaotic realm. Wasn't this too terrifying? He's just a young expert from a 5th rank family. How can he be inferior to the 36 Tianwu Science? What's more, Morong Yu can beat Tian Kongzi with a single punch. The people who followed Morong Yu out, namely his fans, were already used to this scene. In fact, there were even people that started to laugh mockingly. Hiss, the surrounding people gasped. Morong Yu could actually defeat Tian Kongzi with a single punch? One must know that the 36 Tianwu Science were also divided into rank. Tian Kongzi's ranking was far above Tian Baozi and the others. He belonged to the upper middle level of the 36 Tianwu Science. Yet, he could not withstand a single punch from Morong Yu? Who was this guy? How could he be so heaven-defying? Everyone turned to look at Morong Yu, who had an indifferent expression on his face. Who else is here to court death? Morong Yu glanced at the surrounding people indifferently and said in a deep voice. When they met his gaze, everyone lowered their heads. Morong Yu's gaze also contained great power. They did not dare to meet his gaze at all. Of course, there were also some bright world realm experts nearby. However, although these people were shocked by Morong Yu's strength in their eyes, he was still just an ant. Therefore, although Morong Yu was heaven-defying, it was not enough for them to take him seriously. Next time, before you come looking for trouble, wash your neck first. Morong Yu shouted in a low voice. Then, he took a step forward and shuttled through the void, quickly disappearing into the distance. After a few breaths, Morong Yu's figure had already disappeared from everyone's line of sight. Something had to be said here. The entire Heaven Martial City was enveloped by an extremely powerful restriction. Therefore, the people outside could not fly in directly, and the people inside could not fly out directly. Once they touched that restriction, they would be attacked by the restriction. However, flying was not prohibited in Heaven Martial City. It was fine as long as one did not fly too high and touch the restriction. In a small alley, an ordinary-looking youth slowly walked out. Now that I have an ordinary appearance, I shouldn't be troubled by others, right? Could it be that I have an aggro launcher on me? Wherever I go, aggro will follow me. This ordinary-looking youth was Morong Yu. Because his previous appearance had attracted too much aggro, he had no choice but to change his appearance. Before the selection, he did not want any more trouble to find him. Even if he was not afraid, he was still annoyed. Fortunately, Morong Yu did not have an aggro launcher on him. After changing his appearance, he was much more low-key. In the following period, he did not encounter any trouble. However, the trouble from his previous appearance did not stop. First, Morong Yu consecutively killed 3 of the Yun family's younger generation disciples. Young Master Yun was fine. He was a big idiot. However, young Master Yun and young Master Yun were the most outstanding disciples of the Yun family's younger generation. However, they both died in Morong Yu's hands. This caused the Yun family to fly into a rage. As a result, the Yun family placed a bounty on Morong Yu's head in the entire Heaven Martial City. The price was extremely high. This caused many people to eye him covetously. However, Morong Yu seemed to have disappeared into thin air. No matter how hard they searched, they could not find him. Aside from the Yun family, the 36 piles of trash were also searching for Morong Yu with all their might. In fact, the strongest of the 36, Tian Kuei-zi and Tian Gang-zi, even said that they wanted Morong Yu to cripple his own cultivation and apologize in front of them. Otherwise, they would kill him. However, Morong Yu did not care about this. The 36 did have their merits, but they were not in Morong Yu's eyes. In Murong Yu's eyes, they were only the 100 prospective disciples that the Sun sect needed. Time slowly passed. Very quickly, it was the first day of the Sun sect's disciple selection. On this day, Murong Yu arrived at the huge plaza in the center of Heaven Marshal City. At a glance, there were at least 1 billion people. And these people were all here to participate in the Sun sect's disciple selection. Choosing 100 people out of 1 billion, this ratio was really not too big of a headache. Even so, there were still many people who flocked over. Outside the plaza, there were even more people who came to watch the show. In truth, this selection was very transparent. As long as one was in Heaven Marshal City, no matter where one was, they would be able to see the live broadcast of the selection. Whoosh! When the time came, several figures appeared out of thin air on a high platform in front of the plaza. Murong Yu looked over. Aside from the 6 ancestors, he did not recognize anyone else. However, there were 3 people who surpassed the crowd and stood in front of the 6 ancestors. These were the experts of the Sun sect. Although all of them had concealed their auras, an invisible force was constantly emitted from their bodies, suppressing the entire plaza. Even the souls of all the cultivators in Heaven Marshal City trembled. The 6 ancestors of the 6 great powers of Heaven Marshal City followed behind them respectfully. The reason why they were able to make such a move was not only because these people were experts of the Sun sect, but also because they were all Manifestation Realm experts. 3 powerful Blessed Realm warriors. A single Manifestation Realm ancestor could sweep through the entire Heaven Marshal world, what more 3? No wonder the 6 ancestors did not even dare to breathe loudly. My surname is Wang, and I am an elder of the Sun sect. I will be in charge of your selection. The leader of the 3, an old man with a kind face, took a step forward and said in a deep voice. Everyone couldn't help but look at it with excitement. Their faces were filled with excitement. They were all curious about how the solar system selected disciples. Elder Wang did not waste any time. With a wave of his hand, a pagoda-shaped yuan tool shot out and rapidly enlarged. In the blink of an eye, it was as big as a mountain, soaring into the sky. A Manifestation Realm yuan tool, and a top-notch one at that. Murong Yu's pupils shrank. This pagoda is called the Heaven-Reaching Pagoda, a Manifestation Realm yuan tool. It is a replica of the Sun sect's core yuan tool. The first stage of the selection is to climb the stairway to heaven, Elder Wang said calmly, but his words stunned almost everyone present. A Manifestation Realm yuan tool, and a replica at that. Then what level was the real heaven-reaching pagoda? Chapter 1901. Buzz. The Tower of Babel shook slightly. In the next moment, a flight of stairs appeared in front of everyone, leading to the top of the 9 levels of heaven. Ascending the stairway to heaven, Murong Yu looked over with an inexplicable smile on his face. In the cultivation world, one had to ascend the stairway to heaven to become an immortal. However, there was a huge difference between the stairway to heaven and the one created by the Tower of Babel back then. There are a total of 3,000 steps on the stairway to heaven. As long as you reach the 1,000th step, you will pass the first round of selection. Furthermore, the champion will be able to obtain a great prize. If you manage to reach the top, you will be able to obtain a special great gift. Elder Wang's voice slowly rang out. It was incomparably clear as it resounded throughout the entire Heaven Marshal City. Instantly, the faces of those who were preparing to participate turned red. They were excited. If even a Creation Realm powerhouse said that it was a great gift, then it must be at least Creation Realm, right? Even Murong Yu's interest was piqued. Perhaps the Solar Sect's great gift could help him increase his cultivation by a few small realms? The stairway to heaven tests your endurance and perseverance. With every step up, the gravity will double. Elder Wang waved his hand as he spoke. In the next moment, a sky full of black shadows shot toward everyone in the square. Murong Yu extended his hand to grab it and discovered that it was a blank jade strip. Input your soul aura. This jade slip will be your identity token. In the later trials, if you feel that you have reached your limit and can't continue, you can crush this jade slip. The jade slip can protect your life and teleport you to the square. However, when you crush the jade slip, you can't become a disciple of the solar sect. Now the trial begins. Without any hesitation, Murong Yu injected his soul aura into the jade slip. Just as he injected his soul into the jade slip, his heart skipped a beat. Vaguely, he seemed to have a faint connection with the Tower of Babel. Presumably, these jade slips were directly connected to the Tower of Babel. Once they crushed the jade slip, the Tower of Babel would teleport them out. The Tower of Babel was most likely a spatial treasure. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. After doing all this, almost all the people around Murong Yu had disappeared. They all rushed to the bottom of the heaven stairway. Some people had even started to climb the heaven stairway. It was as if the earlier they entered, the earlier they could advance. The stairway to heaven has started. I wonder who will stand out? The gigantic stairway to heaven appeared in every corner of the Heaven Martial City, and anyone could see it. Murong Yu smiled faintly and stepped forward. When he appeared again, he was already at the bottom of the stairway to heaven. The stairway to heaven was very big, so it did not feel crowded even if it accommodated billions of Chaos Realm cultivators. Murong Yu didn't hesitate to step onto the first step as he looked at the stairway that led straight to the heavens. Boom! Just as Murong Yu stepped onto the platform, an incomparably terrifying power appeared out of thin air and directly smashed onto his body. Murong Yu acted as if nothing had happened, but a trace of surprise flashed past the depths of his eyes. This power, which was the gravity of the stairway to heaven, was acting on every part of his body. Even his internal organs, flesh, blood, and bones were filled with this gravity. This gravity is probably equivalent to the endurance of an ordinary Stage 1 Chaos Realm cultivator. Murong Yu thought to himself as he stepped onto the second step of the stairway to heaven. The gravity that was even more terrifying than the first step instantly pressed down. Of course, this had no effect on Murong Yu's physical body. With Murong Yu's invincible strength in the Chaos Realm, this gravity was a piece of cake. However, Murong Yu guessed that this was already the limit of many Stage 1 Chaos Realm cultivators. Even the more powerful Stage 1 Chaos Realm cultivators couldn't withstand 10 steps of the stairway to heaven. This was because the gravity doubled with every step. Sure enough, when Murong Yu stepped onto the second step of the stairway to heaven, the jade slip in his hand was already flickering with white light. At the same time, a cold voice kept ringing in his ears. Li Ping has been eliminated. Chen Xing has been eliminated. When inputting the soul aura into the jade slip, one had to input their identity information. This was because once they passed the selection and became a disciple of the Sun Sect, the jade slip would be equivalent to their identity token. Not only did Murong Yu input his soul aura and name, but he also restored his original appearance. He was absolutely not afraid of the 6 patriarchs attacking him here, unless they dared to offend the Sun Sect's powerhouses. Murong Yu shook his head. These people who were quickly eliminated were not only Stage 1 Chaos Realm cultivators, but also some cultivators of higher realms. However, these people didn't walk up step by step. Instead, they used their movement techniques and rushed up directly. With their speed, they could cross dozens of steps in an instant. It wouldn't be a problem for them to cross over 100 steps. However, the biggest problem wasn't the process, but the result. When they crossed 100 steps in an instant, how strong would the gravity be? Every step they crossed would double the gravity of the previous step. The gravity was extremely terrifying. Therefore, those who had ordinary strength but rushed up quickly were almost crushed to death by the terrifying gravity before they could even feel proud. Their physical bodies were directly crushed into a pile of mud. In the end, they still crushed the Jade Slip and left the heaven-reaching tower, losing the qualification to compete for the Sun Sect's disciple position. When a large number of such people were eliminated, the remaining people learned their lesson and stopped moving forward quickly. Instead, after each step, they familiarized themselves with the gravity of the step and continued to move up. Anyway, the Sun Sect didn't limit the time they could take to climb the heaven-reaching tower. However, even so, a large number of people were still eliminated in an instant. There were too many people participating in the selection, and too many of them were second-rate. These people would be eliminated sooner or later. Those who could reach the top were at least high-level Chaos Realm powerhouses. As Murong Yu felt the constant gravitational force acting on his body, he continued to stride forward, step by step, without stopping at all. This kid is simply courting death. Does he think he is the 6 heavenly kings? When Murong Yu passed by some struggling cultivators, those people sneered in disdain. Now, except for the 6 heavenly kings, the top 8 of the 4th district, the 36 Sky Martial disciples, and a small number of other powerhouses who did not stop at all and continued to move up step by step, the others seemed to be stopping 3 times at a time. However, the 6 heavenly kings were very powerful. The weakest of them was at level 9 Chaotic Space Realm. However, Murong Yu was only at level 3 Chaotic Space Realm. How could he be the same as the 6 heavenly kings? Wasn't this showing off? Therefore, many people were very disdainful. There were even some who wanted to kick Murong Yu off the stage. However, they did not dare to do so. Attacking was absolutely forbidden while climbing the heaven-reaching tower. Otherwise, they would be eliminated. The elimination continued. At this time, in addition to the people climbing the heaven-reaching tower, the crowd also saw a ranking list. Wow! The Sea Heavenly King is indeed the leader of the 6 heavenly kings. He is the first to pass the 500th step. Just as Murong Yu was still climbing dozens of steps, the Sea Heavenly King, one of the 6 heavenly kings, had already rushed to the 500th step. This caused an uproar among the crowd. The other heavenly kings are also not bad. However, they are still inferior to the Sea Heavenly King. The Ice Heavenly King has also rushed to the 500th step and is ranked second. He is only 1 step away from the Sea Heavenly King. The first 6 ranks have already been occupied by the 6 heavenly kings. Below the 6 heavenly kings are the top 8 of District 4. The top 8 of District 4 are not bad. All of them have rushed to the top 15. It is necessary for them to appear. However, they are still inferior to the 6 heavenly kings. Only Tian Kuizi is ranked 15th among the 36 candidates of the Tianwu Kingdom. The others are relatively weak. Tian Xiaozi is ranked 50th. These 50 people are the strongest chaotic space realm people in our Tianwu world. It is impossible for the others to surpass their ranking. It seems that the others can only fight for the top 50 spots. Nearly 1 billion people fighting for the top 50 spot. It is really cruel. Everyone was discussing. No one was optimistic about the others. There was no other way. The 6 heavenly kings, the top 8 of District 4, and the 36 candidates of the Tianwu Kingdom shocked the entire Tianwu world. How could the others compete? Don't forget that there is still Murong Yu. Murong Yu easily defeated Tian Baozi, and even Tian Kongzi and the others. How can trash like the 36 candidates of the Tianwu Kingdom compare to Murong Yu? The ones speaking were Murong Yu's fans. Murong Yu? I'm afraid that there was an expert secretly helping him. Otherwise, how could he defeat the 36 candidates of the Tianwu Kingdom? Although the 36 candidates of the Tianwu Kingdom's reputation was not very good recently, there were still many people who knew about them. Therefore, when Murong Yu's fans opened their mouths, they were drowned by the spittle of the 36 candidates of the Tianwu Kingdom's fans. Murong Yu? Where is Murong Yu? Trash like him dares to compete with the 36 candidates of the Tianwu Kingdom? He is simply courting death. The 36 candidates of the Tianwu Kingdom's fans crazily spat, causing Murong Yu's fans to be silent. Murong Yu's fans also wanted to be arrogant and spit them to death. But Murong Yu's ranking was too terrible to look at. He was actually in the back of a few 100 million. How could he compare to the 36 candidates of the Tianwu Kingdom? We believe that Murong Yu will definitely stand out. Not only will he trample the 36 candidates of the Tianwu Kingdom under his feet, even the 6 heavenly kings of the Tianwu Kingdom's top 8 are not his match. Murong Yu's fans roared ferociously, deeply believing that Murong Yu would stand out in the end. Idiot, I'm just waiting to see when Murong Yu will be transported out. The surrounding people all sneered disdainfully, all of them feeling that Murong Yu's fans were too brainless to actually believe in trash. Murong Yu, you can definitely do it. Murong Yu's fans were all red in the face, constantly cheering for Murong Yu in their hearts. However, Murong Yu's speed was still neither fast nor slow, causing them to feel a headache just watching. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.